A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
Kroger Tender Ray Beef, no other beef so fresh, can be so tender, presents Hearts in Harmony, transcribed. K is for Kroger, C is for cut, B is for beef. KCB means Kroger cut beef, and Kroger cut beef means more meat for your money. That's right, ladies. Kroger cut beef gives you more meat, less waste. You see, before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. Yes, that's before the meat is weighed and priced. And that's why Kroger cut beef gives you more meat for your money. It's top U.S. government grades of beef, meat that's tender, juicy, rich red, and marbled with just the right amount of flavory fat. Yes, it's a better value in top-grade beef. Now, for example, let's take a Kroger cut sirloin steak. Before the steak is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes the stringy end, excess waste, and excess bone. So you get a better value because you don't pay steak price for stringy meat, excess bone, or waste. But whether you buy a steak or roast, you receive more meat, less waste. That's at your Kroger store. Visit your neighborhood Kroger store soon. Make it a rule to buy Kroger cut beef and get more meat for your money. And now, Hearts in Harmony. Master swindler Robert Wilson had apparently fallen into the trap set for him by Penny Gibbs' boss, lawyer Frank Carter. Tonight, Wilson is coming to see Carter. It's late afternoon now, and in Carter's home, Penny says,
"What did Mr. Wilson say on the telephone?"
Well, first he asked if I were the John Lester Adams who's been collecting money for charity.
Then what?
He didn't have too much to say. As soon as he was sure he was talking to the right man, and, oh, brother, he should know who he was really talking to.
No, let's hope he never finds out about that till it's too late.
Well, if we're smart, he won't.
Yeah.
But anyway, all he said is that he wanted to talk to me about a business matter, and could he come up and see me?
He didn't mention anything about money, of course.
Oh, no, he's too smart for that. He wants to get a look at me first and try to guess how to handle me.
I guess what we should be worrying about is how to handle him.
Well, we've had a meeting out of our hands so far, Penny. That letter warning people not to give money to him has worked beautifully. He's been told by everybody in Rossville and the neighboring towns that their contributions have been pledged to me. Now I think he's coming to try to get his share.
Mm-hmm. Oh, about that letter, Frank.
What?
When Captain Hollow signed it, didn't he open himself to libel in case Mr. Wilson turns out to be innocent?
Oh, you weren't here when the captain and I argued about that letter, Penny. He wasn't going to sign it. Not because he didn't want to help me, but because he couldn't involve the police department in a libel suit. But when I told him what Wilson did to the Reverend Dr. Judson...
That convinced him,
Well, Dr. Judson himself convinced the captain. And I'll tell you something interesting. Wilson has produced Dr. Judson's letters of recommendation several times in his request for money. 12 people have reported that to the captain.
We'll solve the problems of a lot of people when you catch Mr. Wilson. Dr. Judson will get back the letter. Mrs. Ainsley will get the money from her husband's will.
Depends on whether or not Wilson has any money, Penny.
Yeah, he probably spent Mr. Ainsley's $10,000 years ago.
Easily. But I'm hoping he has money of his own in the bank so that Mrs. Ainsley will at least get part of what's coming to her. Now, let's see, it's 6 o'clock. Wilson isn't due here till 9. I'd offer to take you to dinner, but I think I'd better stick here in case Wilson shows up early.
Oh, thanks. I promised I'd be home for dinner anyway. Oh, is everything all ready for him?
Yeah. I called Captain Hollow before you got here. He's going to have men around the place. And I also set the most important part of the trap.
What's the most important part of the trap?
Sit across the desk from me.
All right.
Right here. I'll sit over here as if I were interviewing you.
Okay, now what?
I'll sit down first.
All right, I'll sit down first.
Right. Now, you're Wilson, I'm Adams. And I'm just sitting here waiting for you to talk, right?
That's right.
I'm sitting here listening, my hands on the desk.
Yeah.
Well, just talk, Penny. Say a few words. I'll have a little surprise for you.
All right. I'll pretend I'm Mr. Wilson, okay? Mr. Adams, I want to talk to you about the organization I represent. Now, we're raising funds to build a home for homeless children, and I'd like your assistance in raising the money.
That's enough, Penny. Now, come into the other room and I'll show you something.
All right. What's in here, though?
A little surprise I have for you. Maybe you can guess what it is.
Well, I have an idea that cabinet has something to do with it.
A good guess, Penny. This is a recording machine. Now listen and you'll hear your voice.
Forget that, Mr. Wilson. Mr. Evans, I want to talk to you about the organization I represent. Now, we're raising funds to build a home for homeless children, and I'd like your assistance in raising the money.
That's exactly what you said to me in the other room, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is.
And you didn't see me turn on a switch of any kind, I'm sure.
No. I think I know what you did, though.
Well, come out in the other room again, and I'll show you.
All right.
Wait, close the door.
All right.
I don't want Mr. Wilson snooping in here. Now, what did I do?
You, turned on that recording machine by stepping on a button under the rug.
Oh, that's close. Actually, I pushed a switch under the desk with my knee. It's a switch instead of a button, so the machine will keep recording even if I move around the room.
It's a smart idea, but where's the microphone?
Aha, that's the smartest thing of all. It's that inkwell built into the desk set here. Never guess it wasn't an inkwell, would you?
No, I should say not.
You know why?
No.
Because it is an inkwell. An inkwell and a microphone.
Oh, I'd never know it. Did you get it especially for the meeting?
No, I've had it a long time. Ever since I was a freshman in college, in fact. I had ambitions to become a detective then, and I devised all sorts of tricks like this. There are other microphones hidden in the room, too. But you'll never find them, I guarantee you.
All right, wait a minute. There's one in that lamp over there.
Mm-hmm. But where in the lamp?
Oh, probably inside the shade.
Nope. It's built in the lamp base. And if you'll notice, the entire base is mesh wire.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't look suspicious, does it?
No, it just looks like a nice lamp. Where's another microphone?
You see that etching on the wall there?
Mm-hmm. Is it, behind the picture?
It's part of the picture, Penny. The face of the microphone is behind the cathedral window at the top of the etching. Come over here close and you'll notice something else.
Oh, that mounting must be 2 inches thick.
It is, because the microphone is embedded in the mounting. You see any wires?
No, only the wires holding up the picture.
Those are the microphone wires. Going into the wall, through the next room, and the recorder. No microphone wires show anywhere in here, Penny, because wires are a giveaway.
And I suppose men like Mr. Wilson always look for things like hidden microphones, hmm?
Well, if they don't, they should. And I think Wilson will. I think I'm all set for our friend Wilson, don't you?
Yes, I should say so.
Now all we need is a little luck and Wilson with a loose tongue.
When will the police get in here?
They'll be here pretty soon. Captain Harlow said they'd come in the back way and keep out of sight just in case Wilson is suspicious and does a little prowling around himself before he comes in.
Well, you don't think he is suspicious, do you? I mean, there's nothing for him to suspect.
No, there isn't. Maybe I fear his suspicions because I know this is a trick. I have a guilty conscience.
You mean maybe Mr. Wilson does?
Men like Wilson don't have a conscience, Penny. That's why I don't care what tactics I use to trap him. I took up law as a career because there are too many men like him in the world. Too many getting away with it, too.
You know, one by one they're caught, though.
Yeah, and one by one others crop up to take their place. Penny, there's always going to be a war, an open war, too, between law and lawlessness. Because too many men with brilliant minds haven't got the patience to find success the hard way, by honest, long, tedious work. So we're going to make Mr. Wilson sorry he tried success the easy way. I hope.
It's a fine time just to hope. He'll be here in a couple of hours.
Yeah. I'm getting nervous, too.
Yeah, I should think you would. Frank.
What?
Have you thought of how you'll get him to say the things you want him to?
No. I gotta wait and see what he says first. Sort of feel my way along. That's really what I'm nervous about. One slip and Wilson will be wise, and that's the last we'll ever see of him.
In other words, it's now or never, isn't it?
Now or never, Penny. Worse than that, if Wilson gets suspicious even a little bit, there may be unpleasant consequences for us. And I don't mean just a blow on the head, which is what you've already received from him.
Oh, he wouldn't do anything but run and go into hiding.
Hope you're right, Penny. Now, let's not worry about that now. You better go home and get some supper. I'll phone you as soon as something's happened. But don't expect a call from me till around midnight. I think it's going to take me a long time to get what I want out of it.
Hello, Mrs. Peterson.
Oh, Mr. Wilson, come in.
I intend to.
I thought you were in Wayne City.
I was. I just got back.
I suppose you got a lot of money from those people you went to see. Why do you do it, Mr. Wilson? Why do you...
I didn't collect a cent, not one puny cent.
You didn't? Why not?
For the same reason I haven't been able to get a dime in Rossville or Waltham or Allentown or any of the other places around here. Everyone has pledged his money to John Lester Adams.
Everyone?
Well, there was one fellow who didn't. But he had so little to offer, I told him to forget it. Until later. I can't take a chance for a few dollars. I'm after thousands or nothing at all.
Why don't you give up? You've seen 100 people at least, and no one's giving you anything.
I'm going to get plenty. From John Lester Adams and his charity.
You can't do that.
Can I? I've already made an appointment to see him at 9 tonight.
Well, that's not going to do you any good either.
Isn't it? A man interested in charity is going to be interested in the children's home I'm building.
Children's home you're building? You mean bank account you're building?
Well, that's one way of putting it. I'll be a lot happier with a few more thousands in the bank than in a children's home.
Mr. Wilson, you're going to be caught one of these days.
Because somebody talks?
I ought to talk. I ought to turn you in. You're worse than a common thief because you're taking the good name of charity to steal from people who honestly believe that you want to help others.
I want to help myself, and I intend to a good portion of what Mr. John Lester Adams has collected. There's a little role in it for you, if you're a good girl.
I don't want any of it.
That's all right with me. Don't say anything again about going to the police, because that won't be all right with me.
I won't.
Not if you're smart.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's good to go to see this Mr. Adams? It might be a trick.
Why are you so suddenly interested in my welfare?
Because I know what'll happen if you're caught. You'll involve me. You'll tell them what I did to poor old Mr. Ainsley.
Mm-hmm. I sure will. That's why I'm sure you won't turn me in.
You know I won't, even though I want to. But this thing with Mr. Adams may be a trick to catch you.
I know it. I've thought of that. I'm ready for it if it is. You know a pistol when you see one, don't you?
Mr. Wilson, you aren't going to kill anyone. Don't be a fool.
If this is a trick Mr. Adams is playing on me, I won't be the fool. Adams will. Only he'll be a dead one.
Oh, no, Mr. Wilson, you must...
He'll be dead, and if I find out your little friend Benny Gibbs is involved in this, and it's a trick, she'll be the same.
Will Robert Wilson be fooled by the trick Frank Carter is playing on him tonight? And if he isn't, will he carry out his deadly threat? Be sure to listen to the next dramatic episode of Hearts in Harmony. KCB. KCB. KCB means Kroger Cut Beef, and Kroger Cut Beef means more meat for your money. You see, Kroger Cut Beef gives you more meat, less waste. Because before the meat is weighed and priced, the Kroger method of cutting beef removes excess bone, excess waste, and stringy ends. Yes, your Kroger meat man gives you more meat, less waste. And it's top U.S. government grades of beef, tender, juicy, rich red, and marbled with just the right amount of flavory fat. So visit your Kroger store soon. Order your favorite cut of steak or roast. If you buy a Kroger cut round steak or roast, notice that the Kroger method of cutting beef gives you a minimum of bone and removes excess waste before the steak or roast is weighed and priced. Remember, whether you buy a steak or roast, Kroger cut beef gives you more meat for your money. And remember, too, ladies, Kroger cut beef is available only at Kroger stores. So plan now to visit your neighborhood Kroger store. There's where you'll find delicious beef, top-grade beef. And there at your Kroger store is where you get more meat for your money. For Kroger cut beef gives you more meat, less waste. Get your share of this tremendous value without delay at your neighborhood Kroger store. Tune in Monday, same time, same station, for another exciting transcribed chapter of Hearts in Harmony.
Countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
Tonight, Real Gone, starring Al Jasbo Collins. Playing, of all things, Al Jasbo Collins.
Oh, come in. Come in. Glad to see you. Albert here, your Collins friend. Just a minute. I'll close the door. You know, when you run a disc jockey show, the song pluggers just seem to ooze through the grain of the wood. There. Well, we won't be bothered for a while. Have a seat. I'll take this record off the chair. Hound Dog. Exclusive to me. Sung by Helen Traubel with the Vienna State Symphony Orchestra. Under the direction of Felix Weingartner. Now sit down. You do the writing for that Real Gone show on NBC, don't you? That X-1 with the rocket ships and the three-headed men from Mars and all that jazz. Well, that's why I asked you up. I ran into a little something. Just an idea, you know. I figured maybe you could English it up and use it. It's about a friend of mine, Ralph Therian. Did you ever hear him? He's an artist. I don't mean records or a musician. I mean an artist, a sculptor. I ran into him during the war. He used to sit in the barracks making busts of the sergeants out of GI soap. And when they had him on KP, they couldn't trust him to peel potatoes. He'd end up doing caricatures of the captain and the lieutenants out of raw spuds. Man, he was the greatest. He got the whole company restricted for a week when we were stationed somewhere near Boston. It snowed, and he made a life-size statue out of snow and ice depicting the captain sitting in a howdah on the back of an elephant. The captain didn't mind so much, but the elephant happened to look like the regimental colonel, and he took a dim view of the entire affair. Ralph studied in France somewheres under the GI Bill of Rights, and I used to run into him once in a while on 57th Street. He's looking kind of hungry and desperate. Then one day, a couple of green weeks ago, I ran into him on Madison Avenue, and, man, he looked like he belonged. He had one of them Tyrolean chapeaux with a shaving brush stuck on one side, an important German loading coat, and he was carrying a snakeskin dispatch case.
Al! Albert!
Well, hello, Ralph, my friend.
Well, you're looking great, Al. Hey, I like that beard.
Well, thanks.
Kind of gives your face the Mount Rushmore quality.
It's generally admired, my friend, but what brings you over here on this Street of Dreams? I was under the impression an artist was immediately downgraded 3 degrees of integrity when he set foot on Madison Avenue.
I was just up seeing a client.
A client? You've given up the sculpting kick.
Oh, no, I'm just working in a new medium.
Well, you look real prosperous.
How do you like the shoes?
Oh, very dapper. Very dapper. I don't believe I've ever seen lizard skin huaraches before.
Had them imported. Made underwater by natives of Ecuador.
Yeah.
Takes about 3 hours to have them made. So they use about 12 natives per pair.
Ralph, my friend, you give the general impression that you are loaded with loot.
I am. There's money in art. Money. You've just got to get something new. Here, wait a minute. Let me open my case. Here, Al. Take a look at this.
What is that, an ice cube?
Look inside.
Now, man, that's real entrancing. What is it?
That is a detailed copy of Rodin's The Kiss.
Pretty sexy. How do you do it?
Well, you see, I carve it from underneath the plastic block.
Oh, it looks sort of solid to me. How do you get in?
Well, look at the bottom. You see that little hole? I worked through there with my engraving instruments. Of course, this is just a sample. I've been doing originals, mostly.
What are the little cubes good for? Paperweights, I guess, huh?
This is art, Albert, art. Do you know how much I get for one of these?
Beats me.
$5,000.
Oh, that's a pretty stiff price for a paperweight.
Well, you just don't understand, Al. This is the hottest thing since Picasso. I just sold 2 original compositions to Morgenstern. You know, the dealer from Philadelphia. For $25,000.
25? Wow. I should have paid attention when Mama bought me that clay when I was a little boy.
Well, it's about time the creative artist got a little bit of recognition.
Recognition's not the point, man. At 25 G's, I wouldn't care if people walked past me in high noon.
That's because you're not an artist. The money's secondary.
Money is never secondary. Money is the primariest thing there is.
Al, would you be interested in a fine original composition?
Well,
I'll make a special price for you, Albert. $4,000.
No, Ralph, my friend, I keep my papers from blowing off my desk with my right foot and my left piled one on top of the other, and I find that quite adequate to the needs and aspirations.
Al, the trouble with you is you've got no soul.
The trouble with me is I have not got $4,000. This sort of thing is happening to me all the time. For example, I have a barber who plays unaccompanied Bach chaconnes with a 1/4-inch drill and a length of steel pipe. I figured Ralph Ferian was stringing me until I ran into Vladimir Osepsky. Now, Vladi is one of these men who leads a double life. He composes concerti and avant-garde operas under his Square moniker, but he's better known in the Brill Building as Larry Oss. He got in on the ground floor of this rock and roll affair, and he took an already substantial fortune and ran it up to a fantastic munificence. Larry has money he hasn't even folded yet, and he collects art. I was up at his house one night discussing such things as Tin Roof Blues and Wozzeck by Albin Berg, and Larry got around to showing me his collection.
Now, this is Picasso.
Larry, that's what I call cool brushwork, my man. Cool.
I homed it next to the Tintoretto for contrast.
Well, this stuff runs into a pile of loot.
Well, I figure since I've launched rock and roll on an unsuspecting public, the least I can do is collect old masters and leave them to the nation when I die.
It figures. I mean, that figures.
Here's my latest. Look, isn't it beautiful?
You mean this hunk of plastic?
Well, yes. Look into it. That design, that composition, the delicacy of that line. Well, this is the most exciting discovery in art since the invention of red paint.
Larry, was this piece of Jim Crackery executed by one Ralph Ferian?
That's right. You know him?
Mm-hmm.
Remarkable talent. Remarkable. A genius.
And how much did this stroke of genius cost you, if you don't mind my mentioning a crude thing like money?
Not at all. Not at all. It was a steal. I got it from Morgenstern. Oh, I outfoxed him. I got it from him for only $30,000.
Yeah, you outfoxed him, all right. Tell me something, Larry. What makes this worth $30,000?
Albert, what makes a Stradivarius worth $30,000 and a fiddle played on the street by a beggar? $3, huh?
You mean his stuff is that good?
It's art, Albert. This is art. This is genius. To work with such delicacy and such control and such genius in so small a space. You see, that's it. This plastic block is how long? About 2 inches? And yet within this 2 inches is the majesty, the feeling of a sculpture 20, 30 feet high. This is an art which has not been known in the world since the painters of miniatures in the late Renaissance.
Why, then it's for real.
For real. This is the gem of my collection. The Picasso, the Renoir, the Cézanne will, in time, fade into insignificance. This is a new art form. Brilliant. Brilliant. And now let me play a new record we're putting out. It's called I Love You, Baby, 'Cause Your Lower Lip Drags on the Ground. A real cool you-bangy beat.
Well, I let Ralph Ferian's new art form slip my mind for a while I struggled with song pluggers, advertising salesmen, account executives from the agency. And I met him again a few weeks ago at a small cultural establishment on the corner where I work. You might call it sort of branch public library with a brass rail.
Hey, what's the idea of putting this lemon peel in? If I wanted a fruit salad, I'd ask for it.
How do you do, Ralph, my friend?
Oh, hello, Al.
You look like you're thriving, my man.
Well, as a matter of fact, I just signed a contract with Morgenstern to deliver $100,000 worth of my original compositions. I'm celebrating.
In here? Man, this place is only fit for sweating out the downhill phase on a manic-depressive psychosis.
Oh, I'm just starting here. I intend to work my way up. Albert, be my guest.
Well, I just had a difficult morning with the station manager who has an illusion in his little ricky-ticky mind that my program is the answer to Lawrence Welk and Guy Lombardo. He'd been trying to convince me to program 2 solid hours of Wayne King, relieved by vocals by Frank Crummett and Julia Sanderson. I had resisted, and I was in the mood for eating the lotus and forgetting. Several hours later, Ralph was feeling very confidential.
Albert, my friend, I like you. Why don't you shave?
Ralph, love me, love my beard.
I will try. Albert, you have the look of an Abraham Lincoln gone hog wild among the cream puffs.
Ralph, you have an artist's soul.
Albert, I trust you, I trust you, I trust you.
I am touched.
And so, Albert, I'm going to take you to my studio. My secret studio.
And I will reciprocate, my friend. Tomorrow, when I am doing my disc show, you may come to my secret studio. With the esteem that my program is held in today, tomorrow I'll be doing my broadcast from a small hole with a round iron top and plenty of running water below.
What time is it?
something.
I'm late. Hurry.
He took me to a loft somewhere down in the banana warehouse section. He had 3 locks on the door, and he opened them with 3 separate keys. I stepped inside and took a look around. The loft stretched a whole city block. The only thing that kept the New York Rangers from using it as a practice rink was the lack of ice. It was empty, except in one corner of the room there was a mess of machinery. Looked as if someone had eviscerated a television set and left it to die of shock. There was a weaselly-looking little man in a shiny blue suit standing in the middle of the floor tapping his foot.
Syrian, I've been waiting for half an hour. Where have you been?
Now, take it easy, Burson. Take it easy. Plenty of time.
I've told you the active life of the catalyst is only... Who's this?
This is my friend Al. Al Collins.
Well, who is he? And what is he doing here? I've told you we must have no one here.
Now, he's my friend. I trust him.
Oh, I suppose you've told him all about it.
Yes, I have. Have you got the stuff?
Certainly I have. 3 ampules. But it won't last. You've got to hurry. Roll up your sleeves.
Oh, now, just a minute, both of you gentlemen. If I've been brought down here to witness the inoculation of a little happy juice into somebody's arm, I'm leaving. I have no desire to tangle with the Federal Narcotics Bureau.
Now, Albert, do I look like I'm taking narcotics?
I wouldn't swear to it.
You don't understand. In those little glass bottles is a secret of $100,000. And I'm going to show you how I do it. First, we take a plastic cube out of my pocket. So. We put it down on the grid in the middle of the floor. So. Now, if you will kindly step to the outside of the white line painted on the floor. Back there. Go ahead. Now, Mr. Burson, we'll turn on the machinery. Now, I take this vial of catalyst, thus, and pour it over the plastic block. So. Now, we wait.
We stood there at the edges of that loft and watched that tiny plastic block sitting in a frame on the middle of the floor. And then suddenly it began to grow. In about 20 minutes, that cute little plastic block stood about 20 feet on its side. It almost touched the skylight, and there was about a foot of clearance on each wall.
See, the long organic chain of molecules in the plastic is infinitely expandable under the right conditions.
Is that a fact?
By applying the right voltages in series, we can expand the cube to about this size. But there's an outside limit due to the cohesive charge on the molecules.
Oh, naturally, of course. Those molecules do stick together.
Well, it's the catalyst that does it. And I make that. I make the catalyst. You hear that, Therian? I make it.
Now, calm down, Burson. Without me, you just have a great big blob of plastic. I'm the one who turns it into money. You see, Albert, a cube this big is as soft as putty inside. Now, I take my pneumatic drill and I make a hole in the bottom. And then my tools, and I start to carve my pretty sculptures inside.
Therian, I'm warning you. I won't take this kind of treatment for long.
Now, calm down, Burson. You're getting your 10% cut.
10%? 10%? Why, before I brought you this process, the only artwork you could get people to look at was mustaches on subway advertisements.
Burson, That is the typical wailing of the non-creative technician. Envy? Pure envy for genius. Now look out. I'm going under there and start work.
I want 50%, Therian. 50%. That's only fair, isn't it? I put it to you, Mr. Collins.
Just keep me out of it, gentlemen. Leave me out of it.
I'm warning you, Therian. I'm warning you.
Just get out of my way, grease monkey. Let an artist work.
Ralph crawled under the giant cube and started to work. I could see what he was drawing, a collection of lovely ladies, something like the closing number at the Union City Burlesque. Didn't look very good. The lines were kind of thick and muddy, had a kind of a soft and sloppy quality to it, just about as if you were carving in butter. Took him about an hour, and then he crawled out.
Just about in time. Well, what does it say on that watch?
You've got about 20 seconds left. You cut it pretty fine there, Therian.
It's all right. It's a masterpiece. Wait a minute. Okay, now. There she goes.
Well, now, what happened was that plastic cube that was blown up to about 20 feet on the side suddenly popped like a balloon with a cigarette stuck in it. And what ended up was that tiny little 2-inch cube sitting in the middle of the floor. Ralph picked it up and brought it over.
Look at it. Beautiful. Beautiful. The work of genius.
The work of science.
Makes a real nice paperweight.
Albert, my friend, what you have just seen was the creation of a $20,000 masterpiece. Take a good look.
I did take a good look. The whole design was there. But what had looked to me like kind of a muddy, buttery picture when it was 20 feet high was now sharp and beautiful and clear as a snowflake. I went back to the studio and demonstrated my independence by scheduling 2 solid hours of Dizzy Gillespie. The next day I got a telephone call just before I went on the air. It was Ralph asking me to come over to the studio. Said it was important. So, after the show, I shook the last song plugger out of my lapels and headed down to Ralph Therian's loft. I found that fellow Burson walking up and down at the edge of the room, looking at his stopwatch nervously. They had another plastic cube blown up in the middle of the room, and Ralph was inside the cube working. They were having quite an argument.
I know you got paid off today, Therian, $100,000. I know you got it, and I want my share, 50%.
Don't bother me. I'm working.
Hi, Ralph.
Oh, hi there, Albert. Just a minute. Wait till I crawl out.
I warned you. You can't say I didn't warn you. There'll be no more of the catalyst. No more.
Listen to him, Al. That's why I asked you over. I wanted a witness. And you're the only one who knew all about it already.
Oh, now, look, gentlemen, I told you not to get me involved in this.
Now, listen. This little worm, this test tube termite, had the gall to threaten not to bring any more of that catalyst.
But I warned you. I want my share of that $100,000.
If you'll excuse me, I'll get back into that masterpiece. That catalyst is only good for 2.7 hours. Hand me the drill, will you, Burton?
Here it is. What I warned you.
Boy, this plastic is tough today.
All right.
A lower grade.
I warned him. He must have the money here somewhere. Yes, it must be somewhere. Bills. Your check stubs.
What are you doing over there, Burton?
Looking. Just looking.
Well, if you're looking for that $100,000, you can stop. I've got it right here in my pocket. Now, don't bother me while I finish work.
What? Therian, come out of there. Come out.
I've got to finish just a little more.
Come out, you don't understand. Come out. Get out of my way, Mr. Collins.
With pleasure.
Therian, hand me that money. Quick.
Get out of my way, Burton. I'm working.
But listen, you don't understand. The catalyst.
Let go of me.
The catalyst. I made it up half strength. Give me that money, quick, the money.
Well, that's all there was to it. I figured out that little fellow from the plastic company figured he'd get himself a new sculptor when he made up that catalyst half strength. The two of them were in there when the roof fell in. The roof and the walls. Well, that's about all there is to it. Figured you might be able to use the story. I wrote a few notes on it. They're here somewhere, under the paperweight. Oh, would you like to see the paperweight? Little plastic cube, about 2 inches. Look in there. Two fellers with their hands around each other's throat. Looks realistic, don't it? As if they were squeezing. Of course, this one's an improvement on the work Ralph Therian did. This one's in full color.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features The Victim from Space. A time to sow, a time to reap, a time to live. All the Agathians agreed with this, but not when it came to a time to die. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you Real Gone by Ernest Kenoy, based on an idea by Al Jasbo Collins, and starring Al Jasbo Collins as himself. Featured in our cast.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire.
From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1. Tonight, we go forward in time to the days when war has been outlawed, and in its place, there is a system of carefully controlled, legalized murder. The story, The Seventh Victim, by Robert Sheckley.
Is that the mail, Jenny? Bring it right in.
No, it isn't the mail. Are you anxious, Stan?
Well, you know how it is when you're waiting for notification. It's been 2 weeks. The government's behind schedule, as usual.
Oh, that's always the way it is. Now, when you get to be my age, you won't worry about it anymore. At 73, you can afford to wait for the mail. Well, how about the ad? Have you got it done?
Sure, E.J. Want me to play it back for you? Of course, I recorded it myself. We'll have an actor in for the actual recording. You ready?
Go ahead.
Hi there, neighbor. When you're in a crowd, when you're among strangers, do you feel safe? Are you protected by that vital underarm area? You aren't, unless you own a Protect suit. The finest tailoring in the world has gone into a Morger and Freeline Protect suit to make it the leader in men's fashion. Protect suit is the safest as well as the smartest. Every Protect suit comes with special built-in gun pocket, guaranteed not to bulge.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
A touch of the concealed button throws the gun into your hand, cocked, safety off. Why not drop into the Protect store nearest you? Why not be all safe?
Oh, that's fine, Stan. That's fine. That's a very nice, dignified commercial.
Mm-hmm.
And you can relax. I picked up the mail just before I came in. Here's your notification.
That's it. Look, from the ECB. That's the baby.
Oh, you're not going to open it now.
Oh, no, of course not. No one is supposed to know the victim's name except the hunter.
That's right. Have a good hunt, boy. You need a kill. You've been all keyed up.
Well, it's too bad you have to retire, E.J.
Well, I got into the 10s club. 10 hunts. That's not such a bad record.
10 hunts, of course not. 10 hunts, and then, of course, victim in between. That's 20 kills.
Mm-hmm.
I sure hope my victim isn't anyone like you.
Don't worry about it. What number will this be?
My 7th.
Oh, Lucky 7. Go to it. We'll get you into the Tens Club yet. By the way, I got a circular in the mail. Maybe you'd like to use it.
Victims, why take chances? Use an O'Donovan accredited spotter. Let us locate your assigned killer. Pay after you get him. Oh, well, thanks a lot, E.J., but I've got my own spotter. Very good fella.
Well, I suppose you're anxious to get home, open up, and find out who your victim is.
What's that?
Oh, shooting down the hall. I guess somebody got his victim. Good for him, eh?
You bet. Oh, it feels wonderful, E.J. I feel alive again.
Morrow's Garage.
Hello, Ed. Freeline.
Oh, hi, Mr. Freeline.
I'm going out on one, Ed.
Well, good luck, Mr. Freeline. I suppose you want me to stand by.
Yeah, that's right. I don't expect to be gone more than a week or two. I'll probably get my notification of victim status within 3 months of the kill.
Well, I'll be standing by. Good hunting, Mr. Freeline.
Now, you'll be sure to save time for me now, Ed. I'd hate to be caught as a victim without a first-class spotter on my side, huh?
Oh, now, don't you worry, Mr. Freeline. I'll be right there in your corner. I've got a couple of good ideas for an ambush that I haven't tried yet.
Good. Well, I'll get back in touch with you right after the kill. So long.
Mr. Freeline?
What are you doing in my apartment?
Allow me my card. Emmanuel Gale, Emotional Catharsis Bureau.
What do you want from me?
Oh, just a standard spot check in reorientation. I see you've got your notification.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't opened it yet. Do you mind?
No, go right ahead. Yes. Anything wrong, Mr. Freeline? I mean, everything there. Photographs, address, description data.
Yes, but it says Janet Marie Patzig. Janet Marie? I've never killed a female. Is this an order?
Well, just a moment till I check my list. Yes, that's right. The girl registered with the board under her own free will. The law says she has the same rights and privileges as a man.
Could you tell me how many kills she has?
Well, I'm sorry, sir, but the only information you're allowed is the victim's legal status and the descriptive data that you've received.
Could I draw another?
Well, you can refuse the hunt, of course. That's your legal right, but you'll not be allowed another victim until you have served.
Women, always trying to horn in on a man's game. Why can't they stay home? Just doesn't seem feminine. Look, Gail, do you mind if I start packing?
Oh, no. Go right ahead. If you like, you can give me the historical checkout while you pack, and I'll just tick it off here on my list.
Well, all right. Where do you want me to start?
Let's see. Question 1, I think. When was the Emotional Catharsis Board established?
Well, the board was formed at the end of the Fourth World War, or the Sixth. Depends on if you count the new Argentina War.
Well, either count will do. Go ahead.
Well, let's see. Weapons increased in magnitude, efficiency, and exterminating power. Soldiers became accustomed to them, and it looked as if another war would be the war to end all wars. Will you hand me those shirts, please?
Oh, yes, of course.
So, this time, the peace had to last for all time, but the government recognized the presence of a need for violence in a large percentage of mankind. They recognized the validity of competition, love of battle in the face of overwhelming odds, and these, they felt, were admirable traits for the race. So their problem was to arrange a lasting peace that would stop the race from destroying itself without removing responsible traits. I'll just get a new toothbrush in New York.
Very good, very good. All right, Mr. Freeline. Now, if you could run down the basic rules.
Well, anyone who wants to signs up with ECB for a fine legal murder. Then, of course, he has to take his turn a few months later, if he survives. The Emotional Catharsis Board picks the victims' names at random. A hunter is allowed 6 months to make his kill.
Armament?
Yeah. He's allowed to use a standard caliber pistol. He can wear no armor. Victim is allowed to wear armor and is allowed to hire spotters.
Very good, very good. Now, We don't have to go over the penalties for killing or wounding the wrong man. I'm sure you know all that. Oh, it's a beautiful system, isn't it? All the people who want to kill can, and that's about 1/4 of the population. Those who don't want to don't have to. At least there aren't any more big wars, just hundreds of thousands of small ones. Huh? All right, Mr. Freeline, you're checked out for orientation.
All the same, I don't exactly like the idea of killing a woman. But she did sign up, didn't she?
Yeah, that's right.
Janet Patzig in New York. Well, I'll be taking one of our Protect Suit specials. Have you seen one of these, Mr. Gale? When I actuate the mechanism, watch how fast the gun springs out at the ready.
Oh, excellent. It's excellent.
Ah, strange, isn't it, Mr. Gale? Each killing is a new excitement. It's something you just don't tire of, like a French pastry or women or drinking or anything else.
Yes.
Let's see, there. I guess that's it. Now a note for the milkman, and that's about all. Well, I'll be getting along, Mr. Gale.
Oh, and good hunting, Mr. Freeline.
Where to, Chief?
Carlton Hotel.
Carlton, you bet. Just get into town?
Is it that noticeable?
I've been picking up from the airport for maybe 10 years. I can spot an out-of-town killer by the way he carries his suitcase.
You wouldn't be working as a spotter, would you?
Oh, no. The Hack Bureau don't like it. This isn't your first kill, I can tell.
Yeah?
Yeah, guys on their first kill get too anxious. They want to drive right to the victim's address, walk right into an ambush. I'd say you had maybe 5, 6...
7.
7? Well, you haven't got too long to go before you get into the Tens Club.
You ever been hunting?
Nah, I can't afford it.
Look, I'll tell you what. If you can just drive me around the Chelsea area, I'd just like to look at the streets.
Aha, that's where your victim hangs out, huh? Sure, be glad to. You know what you ought to do, Mac? You ought to drop in at the Hunter hunting show at the Coliseum. They got everything. Bulletproof vests for victims, hats with bulletproof crowns. I seen an ad for a Malvern straight shot ECB approved. Carried a load of 12 shots with a deviation of less than 1,000th inch per 1,000 feet.
Well, it sounds like a fine gun.
And they got all kinds of trick things. You know, canes with 4-shot magazines, 45 caliber flashlights, all kinds of things.
Well, those kind of novelties are all right for the first time, but the old-fashioned ways are the best.
Hey, look at that. Somebody got it.
I missed it.
Nothing to see now. In about 4 minutes, the guys from the Department of Sanitation will carry away the corpse.
Yeah.
Well, this is the neighborhood, Chief. You want to give me the address?
No, I'll just drive around.
Okay, you're paying a meter.
Now, wait a minute.
What is it, Chief?
There. That sidewalk cafe, you see?
Yeah, shall I stop?
No, just drive slowly. There she is. Sitting at a table.
You mean the victim is a dame?
Yeah, she's just sitting there. She crazy, exposing herself in the open?
Boy, that's sure no way to stay healthy. Not when you're a victim.
Drive around the block.
Okay.
Well, she looks younger than her pictures. She looks sad. Wonder if she's been notified.
Ah, she's got to be notified, Chief. They can't send you your notice until her signed receipt gets back to the office. It's automatic.
That's right. Isn't she even going to try to defend herself?
Doesn't look like it. Here we come again. She's still there.
Well, all I have to do is just ride by in a cab and pump a bullet into her.
Okay, Chief, I'll go real slow. You be sure to allow for the motion of the car.
No. Park across the street.
Sure.
Both her hands are on top of the table. An easy, stationary target. All I gotta do is...
Say, that's some gadget. Hey, remember to roll down the window before you shoot that gun, huh?
Nah, it's an easy shot. It's too easy.
Look, mister, hurry up, will you? If a cop comes along and finds you shooting out of my cab, he'll give me a ticket for double parking.
No, it's too easy. All my other 6 kills have been hard. My victims have tried every dodge. One of them hired a dozen spotters. I got 'em all. I dressed as a milkman.
Hey, that's pretty clever.
Nah, this wouldn't be a trophy. Here, put your flag up. I'm getting out.
Okay.
Going over to talk to her.
She's your victim.
I know. It's too easy this way. Hello?
What?
Hey, look, if I'm being fresh, just tell me and I'll go. I'm an out-of-towner here on a convention. I'd just like to talk to somebody. If you'd rather I didn't.
Oh, I don't care.
May I sit down? Like to buy you a drink, if I can?
I don't care.
My name is Stanton Freeline.
I'm Janet.
Janet what?
Janet Patzik.
Well, nice to know you. Are you doing anything tonight, Janet?
I'm probably being killed tonight.
Oh, are you a victim?
You guessed it. If I were you, I'd stay out of the way. No sense getting hit by mistake.
Well, you're awfully calm about it. Don't you care? Haven't you got any spotters?
No. Mr. Freeline, I'm a bad, bad girl.
Huh?
I got the idea I'd like to commit a murder, so I signed for ECB. Then I couldn't do it.
Oh, I am sorry.
But I'm still in, of course, even though I didn't shoot. I still have to be a victim.
Well, why don't you hire some spotters?
I couldn't kill anyone. I just couldn't. I don't even have a gun.
Well, you got a lot of courage coming out in the open this way.
What can I do? You can't hide from a hunter, not a real one. I don't have enough money to make a disappearance.
Well, since it's your own defense, I should think...
No, I've made up my mind about that. This whole thing is wrong, this whole system. When I had my victim in the sights, I saw how easily I could... Oh, let's forget it. I'm glad you talked to me. At least it'll pass the time. It's been a lovely dinner. Just lovely.
I'm glad you liked it. I usually stop at this little place when I'm in New York.
Do you come in often?
Oh, on business. I'm in clothing, you know. What do you do?
Oh, I'm an actress. Well, that's a laugh. I'm not really an actress. I'd like to be an actress, but none of the producers seem to see it that way.
How old are you?
22. I've only been in New York for a year.
You know, you're really being very foolish just sitting out in the open that way. Why, you're a hunter. Could come along and just pump a bullet into you.
I know, but somehow I feel safe with you.
Oh. Say, Janet, would you like to go to the gladiatorials with me tonight? We got about 20 minutes. We'd only miss the opening numbers.
Well, I suppose so. Might as well, huh? Eat, drink, and be merry.
You know, I'm a little disappointed.
What?
Oh, I thought the New York gladiatorials would be something special. It's about the same as Cleveland. Historical events, swordsmen and netmen, duels with sabers and foil.
Isn't there any difference?
Well, the duel to the death is the same in Cleveland as it is in New York.
You know, that's funny. I used to think the gladiatorials were very exciting. Now they just make me a little sick.
Well, you can get tired of the best of shows. Frankly, I think it was a mistake starting to televise the gladiatorials. It cut down on the box office for one thing, and for another, it just isn't the same as being right there in the stadium, you know?
No, it isn't.
Well, you want to stay for the second half? Let me see. They got, bullfighting, lion fighting, bow and arrow, and dueling on the high wire.
No, I've had about enough.
All right. Shall I take you home?
Would you please? Sit down. I'll fix you a drink.
Janet.
What?
You're crying, aren't you?
Oh, no, not really. It's just the thought that any minute from anywhere a bullet can come crashing into me. It makes me feel so soft and helpless.
You are soft. Oh, Janet.
You're leaving New York soon?
I suppose so. Convention's only lasting another day.
I'll be sorry to see you go. Send roses to my funeral.
Janet.
What?
Janet, I don't want you to be killed.
There's not anything you can do about it, is there?
Janet, I love you.
Oh, Stan.
What is it? Please, darling, please.
But you can't love me. I'm a victim. I won't live long enough to...
You won't be killed, Janet. Listen to me, Janet, darling. I'm your hunter.
Are you going to kill me?
Don't be ridiculous. Darling, I'm going to marry you.
Oh, Stan, my darling. Oh, the waiting. I've been so frightened.
It's all over. Think what a story it'll make for our kids, huh?
Darling.
How I came to murder you and left marrying you.
Stan, kiss me. I think I'd better have a cigarette.
Let's start packing.
No, wait. You haven't asked if I love you.
What?
You haven't admired my cigarette lighter.
What are you talking about?
It's a lovely lighter, isn't it? With a small hole in the bottom. Just large enough for a .38 caliber bullet.
No, don't.
I'm not being funny, darling.
Janet, I love you. I told you I love you. What's the matter with you?
I don't love you, Stanton. I am a good actress, aren't I? Even though the producers don't think so.
You knew all along.
Yes, of course. Don't reach for that.
Janet.
Yes, darling. Well, now I can join the Tens Club.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features Once a Greach by Evelyn E. Smith. The mildest of men, Iverson, was capable of murder to disprove Harkaway's hypothesis that in the midst of life, we are in life. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you The Seventh Victim, a story from the pages of Galaxy written by Robert Sheckley and adapted for radio by Ernest Kenoy. Featured in the cast, Lawson Zerbe as Freeline, Terry Keane as Janet, his killer, Frank Maxwell as the cab driver, Ian Martin as Emmanuel Gale of the Emotional Catharsis Bureau, Irv West as Freeline's spotter, and Arthur Hughes as his business partner. Your announcer, Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Kenneth McGregor and is an NBC Radio Network production.
The magic island of Euclidia, home of a colony of mad scientists, would be a weird enough place to visit on a sightseeing tour. But it becomes fearful indeed to the little party of worldly people imprisoned there. When Mrs. Patricia Gregory set out to look for her young daughter, lost 14 years ago in a shipwreck, she little dreamed of the dangers her party would encounter. Captain Tex Bradford, friend of Patricia Gregory and organizer of the expedition, young Jerry Hall, amateur radio operator who begged to accompany them, and Joan Gregory, the daughter, are now prisoners on the island. Or rather, inside the island, as their quarters are down in the depths of this man-made structure. Left to their own devices after their escape and recapture, our friends soon discover that there is little pleasure in their imprisonment. They are nearly maddened by the constant echo of their voices in the steel chambers.
Well, I know things don't look any too hot for us right now, but we've got to keep our chins up.
Oh, you've been wonderful, Jerry. I think yours is the strongest one of all.
And I'm willing to admit that I'm not apt to be much help about getting us out of this place.
Jerry is quite right in putting forward a brave face, even though intelligent thought would rule it useless.
Now, look here, Joan. Nobody's going to rule my face useless.
My reference was to your attitude rather than your appearance. However, if we are to enter into discussion of the matter, Exactly what value does your face have?
Did you hear that? What value does my face have?
Now, Jerry, don't get excited and start an argument with Joan. We can occupy our time better than that.
Oh, it would seem so, Tex, and yet we must talk about something, and there's so little to be said.
Joan, let you and I go in my room at the end of the hall where we can figure a way out of this thing.
I'm quite willing to confer with you if you will confine your conversation to the bounds of logic, Gerald.
Gerald? Huh. This is going to be a fine argument, Gerald. Oh, well, come on.
Take a look at the pigeons while you're there, will you?
We'll make sure they're all right.
You will make sure of nothing, my young fool.
G47.
Precisely.
We were merely going into the next chamber for a discussion, G47.
Then be on your way. I have something to say to your mother and Captain Bradford.
Come right on in, G47.
Your attempt at courtesy is only a ridiculous gesture. I shall come and go within these chambers as I please.
Well, is it all right if we go on now?
No. Nothing you could do would be right. But you have my permission. Go.
Come on, Joan. You know, that guy gives me the willies.
Jerry, the willies are what?
Oh, so you forgot that already. Here I waste a lot of time trying to teach you English, and now you forget what the willies are.
I am sorry, Jerry, but your words are so strange to me.
No more than this blame island is strange to me. Hey, this door's open. That means old Geometry's been in here taking himself a good look around.
We cannot prevent that. He rules Euclidia.
Yeah, I know it. Well, let's go in and sit down. Maybe we can figure some way out of this mess.
These apartments are very comfortable, are they not?
They are not. This blame echo thing is driving me crazy. Nothing is comfortable that you can't get out of when you want to.
You may be right.
You know I'm right.
No, Jerry. I know you think you are quite correct in everything you do, but
I'm getting along all right. Now listen, old G47 isn't calling on your mother and Captain Bradford for any tea party. He's going to threaten them with something or else promise them something to get Texas formula. And we may have to work fast to figure another escape.
But there is no opportunity for escape now.
That's what you said before, and we got away.
But we did not, as you would say, stay got away.
Stay got away. Oh, what's the use? Now, if we only get another chance to use those pigeons. Hey, Joan, the pigeons are gone.
Jerry, they are not here.
No, I'll say they're not here. But how did they get out?
G47.
But we'd have heard him moving around in this echo stuff here.
Not G47. He would make no sound.
No sound? In this place?
Did you hear any footsteps when he came to the door?
Golly whiskers, Joan, you're right. It didn't make a sound. But when we walk around here, it sounds like a truck on cobblestones.
We have been talking for a considerable period of time in Mother's apartment.
Uh-huh. Long enough for him to do anything he wanted to.
There have been no homing pigeons on Euclidia, to my knowledge, which is, of course, limited to the confines of information our scientists have stipulated as the maximum advisable for consumption at my age.
Right with you, Joan. Those old boys have told you as much as they thought a kid could swallow.
Gerald, I am not a kid. A kid.
Yeah, I know. Don't tell me again. A kid is a young goat. Now, if you'll stop trying to educate me and listen to reason for a while, we might figure a way out of this.
But there is no way out. G47 will not relax the vigilance of the Euclideans again. Our case is particularly hopeless since our escape.
Why any more since that?
G47 will now realize our potentialities and be doubly anxious to secure the captain's formula.
Well, he can figure all he wants to. But G47 or no G47, we'll get off this funny island someday, and I'll bet it won't take long either.
It seems almost impossible that so stupid a person would be given such splendidly continuous vocal equipment.
Jerry, he heard you.
Oh, what of it? He didn't hear anything he doesn't know.
It would need a man far more ignorant than any on Euclidia to learn anything new from one of your mental caliber halls. In a very short space of time, you may understand more fully what I mean. In a very short time. A very short...
Gee, he's gone. Through that steel wall, without a sound.
Jerry, you should know that G47 did not go through that steel wall.
Well, it looked like he did.
And even after your experiences with these Euclidean scientists, you are willing to accept the appearance for the fact?
Oh, yeah, he didn't go through the wall at all.
To be sure he did not.
To be sure, nothing of this is Screwy Island. But I guess I know what happened. He stepped around a sharp corner in that hallway, and the polished steel made his reflection look like he was passing through.
Now your mental processes are functioning again.
Yeah, but no matter how old geometry got out of here, it's just another good sign that he knows a lot of tricks we'll have trouble catching up with.
Jerry, listen.
Yeah, that's the signal to submerge, isn't it?
It is. And that would mean one of two things.
Well, I know it means the island is in danger of being seen for one thing, but what's the other?
Something which would mean the end of all our hopes.
Huh? They're going to drown us?
I think not, but it might be as well.
Hey, listen. I don't like the way you say that. What goes on here?
Here they are in here, Pat.
Oh, Joan, Jerry, we've the most wonderful news.
Observation would lead us to conclude that information of an optimistic nature would be welcome.
Joan's afraid things are looking bad for us.
Well, they don't look any too good. But with what we just found, there's every chance we'll get away from this island.
What is it?
The very thing we've been looking for every hour since we landed on this mad island. Look.
A little black notebook. Well?
The diary of the old sailor.
Is that it?
That's it, boy, the old sailor's diary. And if it's as complete as we think it is, we'll know as much about this island as the Euclideans know.
You will undoubtedly find much of value in that book.
It wasn't even hidden. After G47 left the room, Tex and I started to get acquainted with our surroundings. And there, lying on a shelf in plain sight, was this book.
And that old sailor spent years here, didn't he, Joan? Years in which he studied this island and waited for his chance to escape, and made entries of all he learned in this diary.
That is true.
Then that diary should tell us all we need to know to plan an escape from this place.
Without doubt, it will tell us all we need to know to plan the escape.
But, Joan, dear, why do you sound so hopeless?
Oh, Joan is so afraid of these people she doesn't realize the chance this gives us.
I don't know about that. When Joan puts on the graveyard look, she's usually got a pretty good reason for it.
But there couldn't be anything lacking in what this book means to us. We all agreed, and you were heartily in agreement with us on it, Joan, that if we could find this diary, it would quite possibly mean our escape.
Where did you say you found this book?
In Pat's apartment.
And the book was not concealed? No attempt had been made to hide it?
Why, no, dear. It was lying right in front of us.
Huh. You're right, Joan.
Maybe I'm thick, but I still don't see it. A book we wanted is still a book we want, no matter where it was found.
Even if it had been left where you could not help but find it?
Huh? Where we... Oh, golly whiskers.
Joan, dear, we didn't find the book. It was simply handed to us.
Yes, Mother.
Then that means just one thing. The book isn't going to do us any good.
Looks like that's it. These Euclideans have figured out some way of being sure we'll stay here as long as they want us, no matter how many books we find.
That is the situation to be faced.
Oh, and I thought the little diary meant so much.
Don't look so downhearted, Pat. That diary means plenty. We're going to get off this man-made torture city someday, and when we do, we can use that information to further scientific work in the right direction back home.
That's all swell, but Joan's got the idea we're not going to get back home.
Did you hear that?
That signal gong of theirs. They're going to submerge this island or do some more of their tricks.
I think it meant more than that.
What is it?
Don't act so mysterious, Joan. We must know all that you know about this island and know it as quickly as possible if we're to have a chance to escape.
I will tell you, Mother, the instant I'm certain as to the meaning of that signal. If it was what I believe it to be, it will be repeated in 60 seconds.
Well, if that's some special signal that we don't know anything about, let's keep quiet when it starts again so Joan can tell exactly what it is.
In the meantime, let's... Oh, so they took the homing pigeons.
Yes, Captain Tex. The little pigeons are gone.
And with them went our strongest hopes for escape.
Well, I didn't think they'd let us keep them anyway.
Now, don't be too downhearted over the loss of those birds. These scientists won't hurt them any. They'll give them every care and attention because they want to study them. And the pigeons have done their work for us long ago. You all seem to forget that Johnson is on his way to the States with our position, and he knows where to get my formula. All we have to do is to hang on until he can have that formula compounded and organize a rescue party. We can expect rescue in less than 3 weeks.
1, 2, 1. Yes, that is the signal. And the position Johnson has for this island is quite useless.
Useless? Why, Joan?
That was the signal to move the island.
You mean to submerge it?
No, I mean to move it. Move it along the floor of the ocean for 1 mile or 25 miles or 1,000 miles.
Move this island? But, gee, golly whiskers, if they can move this whole island, how will anybody find us?
That is our hopeless position, Jerry. No one will ever find us.
When the Gregory yacht left Los Angeles in search of the Magic Island and Mrs. Gregory's long-lost little daughter, Joan, they anticipated plenty of trouble and were not long in finding it. They planned and executed one escape, only to be brought back to the strange island of Euclidia, where their position is now worse than ever, as they're confined in steel cells on one of the lower levels of this mad scientific colony. G47, master scientist and ruler of Euclidia, has just paid them a visit, not a pleasant one. Mrs. Gregory, Joan, Jerry, and Captain Bradford stand listening to a new threat. The signal to submerge the island of Euclidia is sounding, and with it, another signal which only Joan understands. Jerry, Tex, and Pat find it hard to believe Joan as she explains the second signal.
There's that blamed gong again.
The island will be moved.
You mean that, Joan? They will actually move this huge island?
Yes, Mother.
Well, golly whiskers.
That's a pretty big order, Joan. This island is 100 feet high and several hundred feet in diameter.
And it weighs more than 1 million tons. Yet it will be moved. It is moving now.
Well, how do they move it?
There are immense cantilever-activated units of the worldly articulated caterpillar type, which simply progress slowly but steadily along the ocean floor.
An island that weighs 1 million tons walking around on the floor of the ocean? This is a nightmare.
Yet it's real. Horribly real. I can feel a steady vibration now. The entire place seems to be rocking gently from side to side.
That is a fair layman's description of the action.
Oh, yeah? Well, a layman's description is plenty good enough for me now. I don't need a lot of scientific languages to tell me that we're sunk.
We are not sunk, Jerry. We are submerged.
Well, sunk or submerged, we're underwater just the same, and I'm no fish.
I know how you feel, Jerry. We don't seem to be able to do very much about it. So let's try to take it as calmly as we can.
But, Tex, this means the end of everything. When the island is moved, our position is changed. No one will find us, and all of Johnson's work to bring aid will be lost.
That's about it, Pat.
Then there's nothing we can do.
Oh, Joan and I'll get you out of this. Don't worry about that.
Well, of course, we're glad to have your spirits so high, Jerry, and you have done a great deal. But do you know what you're going to do about this?
No, not yet. But I'll figure it out.
We'll all work on it, Jerry, and something surely must come out of it.
Jerry and I were fortunate in discerning certain possibilities on our tour of the island previous to our recent ill-fated escape attempt. Perhaps we could do as well if the attempt were repeated, though our activities would of necessity be directed along different lines.
She means that we can try it again, but we'll have to get a new angle.
Oh, thank you, Jerry.
Got any ideas, Joan?
Nothing of value at the moment, but Jerry and I may be able to discover something. May we go and carefully observe everything in this portion of the island?
You may be running into danger, dear.
How? We're locked in this little bunch of steel rooms. How are we going to get hurt any more by looking around than we would by just standing still?
I think Jerry's right, Pat. Let them go. They did all right for us before. And if they can't get out, nothing can get in to hurt them.
Don't stay away too long, will you?
Oh, it won't take us long to look this little place over. And we'll be back as soon as we find anything that looks like news.
Do not worry, Mother. We will return soon.
That's funny.
What, Tex?
That hollow echo of their steps on the steel floor, but the echoes are gone from the rest of the room.
Why, yes, so they are. Our voices are perfectly normal.
Yet the steps continue to echo. Oh, this is certainly a weird island.
Tex, now that the children are out of hearing, what do you really think about our chances?
Not any too good, Pat.
In fact, hopeless.
No, Pat, it isn't quite that bad.
Oh, yes, it is. You might as well admit it. They've locked us in these steel apartments, in one of the lower levels, and taken our homing pigeons, without our only means of communication, and locked up in a steel room below the surface of the sea. What possible chance could we have?
We escaped before, didn't we?
Yes, from the surface of the island, with the help of our pigeons, and Johnson, and another boat.
Yes, and Johnson is still free. He must be nearly to Los Angeles by this time, and our rescue may be only a matter of days or weeks at the most.
There's no reason to try to deceive me, Tex. We're all in this together. You and Jerry are in the same hopeless position just because you wanted to help me. And even Joan is in danger because of my attempt to take her back to our world. She was comparatively happy here with these Euclideans until we came. She knew nothing of our world, and her mother was only a name to her. Now we've brought to her all the promise of the love and brightness in our world, the promise that it would one day become her world. And we can't make good on that. It's rather a miserable failure, Tex, for all of us, and it's all my fault.
Now, Pat, that's no way to talk. Look how Jerry and Joan keep their heads up. They know as much about the danger here as we do. Surely we can do as well as those kids.
Oh, Jerry's fine. He's been such a help and comfort to me. But I promised his father that I'd take care of him. Take care of him by getting him imprisoned under the sea in an artificial island, peopled by mad scientists. Why, I'd take care of him.
Stop that. You're not going to help things by going to pieces. We'd better be putting all our energy on some plan to get out of this place.
Oh, but it's all so hopeless.
We haven't even tried to get out since they put us in these steel cells. We haven't studied the old sailor's diary.
You're right. That diary may contain something of value to us.
No doubt of that, after the old man tried so hard to get it to us.
And where is the old man now?
Where is he? Why, he's... Well...
Exactly.
But we have his diary, and it's supposed to contain a detailed description of nearly everything on this island.
He couldn't use that knowledge to make his own escape.
Pat, I've never known you to act just like this. You sound so absolutely hopeless about it all.
Oh, perhaps I'm overtired. I've never felt quite this hopeless before. I'm sorry, Tex. You've been so sweet all these years, waiting for me to find Joan, waiting for me to do this and that, and now... Oh, Tex, it looks as if we've waited too long.
Oh, nonsense, Pat. Keep your chin up. We'll get out of this somehow. You've been a very wonderful person through it all. 14 years of waiting for Joan, and now you have her. It's not right that we shouldn't get back to our world to enjoy our lesson. We will get back.
Mrs. Gregory?
Oh, is that Jerry?
Sounded like it.
Mother?
Yes, that was Joan.
Come here a minute.
Where are you?
Down at the end of the steel hall. Come on and take a look at what's happening here. Hurry up and come in, will you?
Coming, Jerry.
He doesn't sound as if anything serious was wrong. But it isn't. Jerry would be so impatient.
Now, Mother, you and the captain must not be too badly frightened by what Jerry and I have discovered.
We mustn't what?
You two won't get scared if we show you something, will you?
What in the world has come over you, Jerry? Captain Bradford and I are not apt to be frightened by anything you take so calmly. What is it?
It may be of great moment to all of us, and it may be a mental enlargement of a minute accidental circumstance brought about by our proximity to countless things beyond the comfortable grasp of tired minds. In either event, it will avail us nothing to give it undue consideration.
Joan means we may be making a mountain out of whatever they make mountains out of, but she's afraid it's as bad as it looks.
Well, for heaven's sakes, Joan, what is all this?
You show them, Jerry. I will watch in the corridor.
No use doing that. Everything we're saying is being heard anyhow.
I expect that's true enough, but get on with it, kid. What stirred you all up?
Well, take a look on the floor, down here in the corner of this cell.
On the floor?
Yes. And if you look close, right up against that wall, you'll see where there's a little moisture coming in. Water or something. But it isn't any accident, I'll bet. See how steady it drops through that fine hole? Just as if the hole had been drilled there to let the water in.
Yes, I see it now.
But what could it mean?
It could mean a great many things, most of which I'd just as soon not think of now.
Well, I got an idea what it is. And that's the reason Joan and I didn't want to tell you about it at first.
If it's anything that important, we should know about it at once.
I'll say so. Come on, let's have it, Jerry, and hurry it up.
Well, Joan says that she heard some funny stories about people who had been put in these lower-level cells. Stories about water running into the place in a stream like this one, no bigger than a pinhole. And maybe it takes weeks or months or maybe a year. But finally the water gets so deep in here that you have to stand up to keep your head above it. And when you can't stand it anymore, you tell those crazy Euclideans whatever it is they want to know.
But, Jerry, you say Joan spoke of others who had been put down in here, and these rooms slowly flooded? Who were they?
There is no longer any need to worry about our conversation. You will note that our voices no longer echo. That would mean that the directional rays are focused upon our chambers, and everything we say or do will be heard and seen in the central communication chamber.
Well, as long as we can speak right out in meeting, I'd like to know a whole lot more about this water running in here on the floor.
You've heard something of it, Joan?
I have heard many discussions between G47 and his assistants relative to the prisoners in these cells. All of them were people of importance in the scientific world, or high officers in the armies and navies of countries of the orderly world. All of them had some secret that the Euclideans wanted to learn. And when this water would rise to the level of the prisoner's mouth, they would learn what they desired.
They wouldn't have to wait that long for me.
Joan, my dear, do you think we are being subjected to that punishment now in order to secure the captain's formula for the Euclideans?
I'm sure of it, Mother. We will never be allowed to leave these rooms until G47 knows all there is to be known of the universal solvent.
About how long will it take to fill this room, Joe?
That I do not know, Captain. But it will take only a few hours for the water to lie on the floor to the depth of an inch in this room. And closing the room off will do no good. as the water will simply pass into the next room when it reaches a depth of 1 inch.
Oh, the sensible thing to do would be to give up my formula right now and take our chances on what they would do with us after that.
It might be just as well, Captain.
Now, don't you do it, Tex. We've still got plenty of time to figure some way out of this.
I'm inclined to agree with you, Jerry, though I must admit I haven't the faintest idea as to how to go about it.
But, Pat, you're all in danger.
Well, not as great danger as we would be once these Euclideans had taken all they wanted from us.
You're right, Mrs. Gregory. That formula is all they're saving us for, and let's hang on to it as long as we can.
Somebody knocking on the hall door.
That is strange. The Euclideans do not knock.
But no one except the Euclideans would have the freedom of these chambers.
You three stay where you are. I'll find out.
Oh, be careful, Tex.
Don't worry. I'll watch everything.
Something funny going on here. Notice how quickly the captain's steps stop making any noise?
No one on Euclidia ever knocks at a door. I do not like this.
Oh, you children are overly excited.
Well, maybe. But just the same. Hey, Tex! Tex! Captain Bradford!
Jerry, Tex doesn't answer. Do you think that...
Now, step into the incredible, amazing future as we go exploring tomorrow. And now, here is your guide to these adventures of the mind, John Campbell, Jr.
Last night, as I was going up the stair, I met a little man who wasn't there. He wasn't there again today. My gosh, I wish he'd go away. I think it was Gillette Burgess who penned those immortal lines. How do you get rid of a little man who isn't there in the first place? Well, Peter Manson was a physicist, a scientist. And his trouble started with a little man who wasn't there. Submatrix X integrated to pi over 2 plus confound. May I come in, Mr. Manson? Why? Thank you. Are you alone? Yes. Well, then she hasn't arrived yet. I wasn't expecting anything. Oh, I am, but if she isn't here yet, I'll have some time to explain. Who is it? One thing at a time, sir. Now, first, have you ever considered the problem of time travel? Time travel? Why, that's impossible. Oh, now don't say impossible because you invented it. I've done nothing of the sort. History says you did. What history? History says that you invented time travel machinery and applied for a United States patent on June 16, 1964. What history? That's 6 years from now. But not from my point of view. You see, I've used one of your own time machines to come back from your future, 50 years through my past to this date, your present. Do you understand? You claim you have traveled 50 years through time? I am here. That's proof. I don't believe a word of it. Well, look 'em over. This is your own personal notebook, 50 years later than it is now. Actually, that's the same one that's on your desk right now. Now, this is a copy of your patent. Now, these documents say I'm right. I say so. See, in my day, you are the wealthy and famous Peter Manson. Well, do you want my autograph? You may be right, but I'm not wealthy yet. Oh, I'm not after anything. I'm here to help you. I don't need any help. Do you know the first thing about your future? Of course not. Well, I do. I know just about everything that you're going to do in the next 50 years. Prove it. What am I going to do next? You are about to be introduced to the woman who will become your wife. I already know her. We're engaged. Oh, you mean Laura Phillips. Well, no doubt she's a nice enough girl, but she's not for you. You'll break that engagement shortly. I'll do no such thing. History says you did. Not will do. Did. But you... Yes. Yes, Laura. No, Laura, not... But, Laura... Tell her now and get it over with. You shut up. No, Laura, I didn't mean you. No. No, Laura, she's not here. No. She hung up. Oh, wouldn't listen to you, huh? And that's your fiancée. She wouldn't do that if I...
Is this...
Oh, Miss Carter, now we've been expecting you. Please come in.
All right, but just for a minute. No, Harry, you wait by the door, but stay close.
Now, Miss Amelia Carter,
May I present...
Get that dame out of here.
Dame? Please, now, this is hardly a way to start a lifetime.
Lifetime?
Yes, history says so. 50 years and still going when I left. Now, stop this hostility. You might as well save time, too, now. Now, start off with the first names. Amelia, this is Peter. Peter, be nice to Amelia. You really should be gracious, generous, anxious to create a good first impression.
Don't tell me how to behave.
Don't you blow a fuse, Grandpa.
Grandpa!
I am Peter Emil Manson III, your grandson. Note that the middle name is the masculine form of Amelia, your wife, my grandmother.
Grandmother?
Yes, indeed. Your son is my father.
But I'm not married yet.
Oh, but you will be. Now, Grandpa, you sit here.
Cut this grandpa stuff right now.
Well, I'm sorry, but I've been taught that it's impolite to call my grandparents by their given names. Of course, you don't look much like the old duffer that I know as Grandpa.
Oh,
now,
duffer,
calm down and you start making like romance. You know, you're not even engaged to Grandma yet.
Don't call me Grandma.
Pardon me, it is impertinent, but you are quite a dish. Now that I've seen you in your youth, I can understand why Grandpa threw over this Laura Phillips girl. I can hardly believe that you'll become that sweet little old lady.
Mr. Manson, what's he talking about?
He's a time traveler from the future who says he can prove that we met, got married, and...
Now, don't go any further.
I'm afraid he's right. He says it's history, and we can't change history, can we?
But I hardly know you.
Well, if you'd known each other, I wouldn't have to introduce you, would I?
Maybe somebody'd better explain this to me.
Ah, fine. Now we're off to a start. Highball, Grandmother?
Yeah, I think I need one.
Now a little more romantic setting. Soft lights now. And now I'll leave you two to canoodle a bit. I've other things.
But Harry...
I'll take care of Harry. That'll be Laura. Run high. Do something.
Oh, relax
with him, Laura. I'll take care of everything.
But Peter Manson wasn't the only one having trouble with the little man who wasn't there. No, the future cannot be handled logically. It's logically impossible because... it doesn't exist yet. And if it doesn't exist, then obviously it isn't logical. But it's going to exist, so... Well, you see what I mean. Logic is just hopeless. I should ought to clobber you.
Oh, now be reasonable, Harry. It wouldn't prove anything.
But Amelia's my girl.
Get over it, Harry. They're probably arranging their engagement right now.
You meddler.
I am not a meddler, Laura. I'm just an instrument of fate.
Fate? Poor Peter thrown to that blonde lion.
Oh, you stop calling my girl names, you hear?
You're acting like a pair of spoiled children. Now stop it. I regret that you've lost your loves, but really no one ever actually died of unrequited love.
Mine wasn't unrequited.
Well, it might as well be once they're happily married.
Happily married?
Well, you wouldn't want them unhappy, would you?
No, I'd like a little happiness myself.
Well, so would we all. But stop and think. Now, if a number of human lives depended upon your giving up a love affair, would you go on selfishly and marry the man anyway?
Well, that's hardly fair.
Well, then I'll put it up to Harry. Harry, if your own life depended upon preventing a wrong marriage, would you stand by and let them go ahead?
Make your own point. You're the meddler.
All right. My life depends upon it. My father's life depends upon it. Unless Peter Manson and Amelia Carter marry, neither my father nor I can be born. Now, knowing this, I used my grandfather's time machine, came back to give a formal introduction. Now, you can't blame me for wanting to live, so I came back and I fixed it up.
Yes, you're a great little fixer-upper.
Maybe we should ought to fix you up and then go on as we please about it.
You don't know much about time and history, do you?
No, but I could make up a...
You could not change a thing.
Why not?
If your father and mother had never met, could you have been born?
Oh, don't be utterly ridiculous.
Now, don't ever be scornful of stating a simple fact. I exist, therefore I am. Now, say it as you please. To you, Peter and Amelia will marry. To me, Peter and Amelia married 50 years ago. Now, the sensible thing to do is to accept the fact. Wipe it off the slate. Pick up the pieces and go on from there.
Such as?
Well, now, you're both very attractive people. You have a common bond of memory.
Ain't my type.
Well, I looked at better myself.
Oh, Gad, this is a primitive era. Tell folks what's best for them, and they want to... What is the term, Harry?
Clobber you.
Yes, that's right. Clobber me.
That's the best idea I've heard all night.
No, not here. Outside, where I can stop being a lady. Then I'll help you.
Well, you can beat me up, but you can't change something that's already happened. Now, can you?
Look, I've taken all I can. I'm going home.
Can I...
That is a fine practical arrangement. Find sympathy in one another. It's the better thing to do. And maybe you'll find happiness with one another, too.
Can't we get out of this, Neil?
Well, if I cut my throat, I can't invent the time machine, and then he couldn't come back and mess up our lives by forcing me to marry you.
You'd rather commit suicide than marry me.
Oh, now, Amelia, stop it. That's not so.
Oh,
So you'd rather marry me than commit suicide?
Stop the bawling and let me think.
Peter, do you think he'd go away if we made it look like everything was running smooth?
What do you mean?
Well, suppose we stopped squabbling and complaining and made up to one another so he'd think we were happy and convinced that he's right. Maybe he'd be satisfied and go back where he came from. Then we could do as we please.
Won't work.
Why not?
That character is our grandson, Amelia. Already he knows what we're going to do.
Well, aren't you even willing to try?
I'll try, but it's futile. What did you have in mind?
Well, I just know he's coming back tonight. We could make it look as if we'd been getting acquainted.
Well, what have we been doing for the past couple of hours playing tiddly... Hey, let go, mind up.
Just looking me up a little. If we were really getting acquainted, we'd not look as if we'd been sitting with folded hands. Hey, stop that.
Well, if you really love me, you wouldn't mind my mussing up your hairdo then.
All right. There. Now we look like we've been wrestling. Where's my bag?
What for?
Lipstick. You should have a few smears.
Well, with you looking like a magazine cover, lipstick is a two-way smear, right?
Oh, yeah. I suppose so.
You sound as though Harry was the only man you ever kissed.
If we ever get around to it, Peter Manson, you'll be the only man that's ever been kissed just because history said he had to be. So there? If I got it.
All right. Once for history.
Let's see you now.
You need more of the spread.
You need a touch right there. Oh, still yet.
There's one thing history didn't mention.
What, Peter?
History didn't say this could be fun.
Peter, it'd be funny, wouldn't it?
What could be funny?
This trick worked.
And then?
You and me found out after he'd gone that we really did like it.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
Peter?
Yes?
Open up the door.
Yeah, so let him wait. Now remember to look flustered.
And try to wipe your face, too.
Well, I see everything's progressing fine. All right, now, go away. Oh, huh? I'm not going to stay. I just wanted to see how things were getting along. I know when I'm not wanted. Then why did you come here in the first place? Well, you think you hate me for my interference, but you wait and remember. In 50 years, the pair of you will be sending me off in my time machine to do this job of fixing up. And you, Grandma...
Stop calling me Grandma!
Still my Grandma, and you'll tell me that you and Grandpa actually wasted your first kisses trying to fool me into leaving. So now I'll trot along, but I'll be back tomorrow. And don't you keep her out too late, Grandpa.
What'd you do with Harry?
Oh, I fixed that up fine. Harry volunteered to escort Grandpa's former girlfriend to her home.
Harry and Laura?
Laura with Harry?
Peter?
Yes, Amelia.
To heck with history. Kiss me once. For me?
Oh, for goodness sake, it's 3 o'clock.
I know what time it is.
But
what I want to know is what you're doing there.
I'm trying to think.
Yes, you look as if you've got it all settled.
Oh, what can I do?
You might wash that blonde hussy's magenta lipstick off your silly face.
Now, Laura, I can explain.
I'm listening. Convince me that you got all smeared up without enjoying it.
Come on, convince me.
You went home with Harry to Beef Trust, didn't you?
Well, I didn't see anyone around making me another offer.
But I will.
I know. Working like a little beaver, making history come out right.
Well, what am I supposed to do? Bang my head against brick walls, tilt at windmills? Confound it, am I the only one around here with sense enough to know when I'm licked?
Well, you might not be so completely licked if Amelia Carter were as ugly as mud fence.
Well, it does make my defeat less difficult to bear.
Well, make it complete, then. Have this expanded to fit her pudgy little hand.
My ring. But, Laura...
Goodbye, Peter.
Wait, don't go.
What's to stay for? To be a maid of honor?
If you came to quarrel with me, you yourself are doing everything to prove Junior's point. If he were here, he'd be cheering you into hating me and using my telephone for calling Harry to take you home.
Look, I didn't come here to fight with you, Peter. I came here to fight for you. But you're not fighting.
Junior knows all the moves. No matter what I try, everything turns out his way.
It's like your experimental smooching session.
Yeah, that too. He was amused.
I'm not. May have started as a deliberate frame-up, but it certainly ended up ginger peachy for his little old program.
I tell you, he knows every move. He came back here just to tell Amelia and me that you had gone home with Harry.
And 50 years from now, you and Amelia will dart her over to his time machine and kiss your brat of a grandson goodbye as he goes off to make the introduction. That's the program, isn't it?
And what can we do?
Peter, you say everything's fixed and solid. It can't be changed.
Well, that's the way it is.
But let's just suppose that you could quietly unfix Junior's little apple cart.
Well, then we go on as if he never arrived.
Well, couldn't you?
I can't prevent what's already happened. He exists. He is. He's here in the flesh.
No. I suppose you can't change that, can you?
No.
Well, then, goodbye, Peter.
Wait a minute, Laura. What if Junior were a different kind of guy?
What do you mean?
Look, Laura, he's the grandson of Amelia and me, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I don't marry Amelia, he doesn't get born. He can't exist unless we follow every move right down to the last letter of the historic record he talks about, right?
Yes, but...
Let's assume that the future is not a firm and solid hunk of recorded history.
Well, everyone but you and Junior have been saying that all along, but you keep pointing at Junior's history book and saying no.
But suppose that Junior's history book is only one of many possible histories.
Then how do you explain his solid existence?
Floating a brick on water is not impossible. It's just extremely unlikely.
Oh, stop sounding like a mathematics professor, Peter. Get to this important point.
Until Junior arrived with his books and his papers to show me, us, how we were going to act, he was rather unlikely as a future probability.
Mm-hmm.
But once he convinces us and introduces me to Amelia, Junior's existence becomes a very strong probability. In other words, he exists because he did the fixing that put history on the road that leads directly to him.
Well... you could rob a bank and get tossed in jail, and that would stop you from marrying anybody.
Well, we can't change things that drastically. But we might slip a little change in Junior's character.
How can we do that?
Suppose we could create another very strong future probability. Mightn't he come back and fight just as strong for his own existence?
But how can you do anything like that?
Laura, would you marry me right here and now?
Peter, at 3 o'clock in the morning? Peter, it's Junior again. Don't go. Oh, no.
Well, good morning. I'm in time, I see. You come in. I was hoping you would arrive. I am the Reverend Peter Laurel Manson III. You'll notice that my middle name is the masculine form of the given name of my grandmother, Laura.
Peter, here is the other probability.
Precisely. Let's get along with it quickly before something else happens. Please, we must not be impatient. There must be witnesses. But I have prepared for everything. Everything. Will you permit me? Do come in. Oh, this is a most auspicious occasion.
Amelia!
And Harry, what are they doing here? People here appear to have forgotten that a man has 4 grandparents.
Well, I'm still a bit confused.
Oh, my dear, if I had not been prepared for this rare and happy occasion, I should be quite disturbed. It isn't often that a man has the opportunity of officiating at a double wedding ceremony uniting his grandparents. Can you make this stick? Yes. Now, unless I double-cross this double ceremony, now, Peter, take Laura's hand and stand away over here on my left. Now we all sort it out properly. Fine. History says that Peter and Laura will have a stalwart son. Harry and Amelia will have a fine daughter. Son and daughter are my own parents.
Are you sure?
I arrived a bit late, my dear, because I have been quite a busy man. I made a stopover on my trip through time, pausing long enough to unite in marriage your son with their daughter. It was a lovely wedding. Time goes by, woman needs man, man must have his mate. Yet that doesn't mean you got to be stuck with any particular mate. There's freedom of choice there. See, the only way you can get rid of the little man who isn't there is to have a different little man not there. That takes care of it.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
Bird, it's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice. But before we join Superman, listen.
And now to our story. Posing as the foreign agent, Lois Lane gained entrance to the penthouse apartment of Max Heller, leader of a German espionage ring, only to have her true identity exposed by the Yellow Mask, Heller's partner in espionage. Informed by the taxi driver who had taken her to the apartment that she had seemingly disappeared, Clark Kent, as Superman, leaped to the terrace, forced a door, and entered one of the large rooms. To his amazement, he found it empty and unoccupied, nothing but 4 blank walls. Suddenly, he heard a strange hissing off in the distance, as though a rocket were being catapulted into space. Puzzled, he stared at the blank walls, bringing into play his amazing power of X-ray vision. What he saw startled him. As our story continues today, an hour has passed. Superman has left the penthouse apartment and returned to it as Clark Kent, accompanied by Major Campbell, chief of the Espionage Division of the Secret Service. Listen.
Well, there's no question about this apartment being unoccupied, Kent. Evidently, we had the wrong steer. Max Heller wasn't using this as his headquarters.
Yeah, that's what I thought, Major Campbell, the first time I saw these blank walls.
You mean Heller did occupy these premises?
There's no question about it.
When did he move?
He hasn't moved.
Now, look here, Kent. There isn't a stick of furniture in the place. We've gone through all 7 rooms.
I know.
Well, don't tell me Heller and his gang slept on the floors.
No, not at all. This apartment is still beautifully furnished.
Kent, are you out of your mind? Do you call this furnished? Why, there isn't even a picture on the walls. Now, look, Kent, we're at war. There's a lot of work to be done. We can't afford to waste time on practical jokes. I'm really surprised at you.
You're going to be more surprised in a moment. Follow me.
Hey, where are you going?
Into this closet.
Now what?
Just step inside here a moment, will you?
Yeah.
All the way in, please.
Oh, Kent, if this is some silly trick of yours...
It's a trick, all right, but it isn't mine and it isn't silly. Keep your eye on that wall of the closet.
What are you fumbling for? What do you expect to find in here?
A little push button. Ah, here it is. Now, watch.
A secret panel.
Exactly. You see what's behind it?
Looks like a control board. Well, those are switches, aren't they?
Yes, and each one is marked. Look. There's living room, dining room, foyer, kitchen. Each room has its own switch.
What are they for, Kent?
Major Campbell, you're about to see something that will not only amaze you, but prove to you that Max Heller is no ordinary espionage agent. The man is clever. And we've got to be just a little more clever to catch him with the goods.
Oh, what is this thing you're going to show me?
Don't step outside this closet now. You may get hurt. Just watch the room with its 4 blank walls and not a stick of furniture. I'm going to pull the switch marked living room. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Good heavens, Kent. The walls are swinging around. The floor is turning upside down.
Keep watching, Major. The entire room will turn inside out. In a moment, you'll see it completely furnished, from pictures on the walls to ashtrays on the tables.
Kent, it's amazing. I scarcely believe my eyes.
There. Transformation is complete. You can step out of the closet now.
Yes, but how do those chairs and couches stay where they are? Why don't the lamps fall over when the floor upends?
Everything is bolted down. Tables, chairs, and couches are bolted to the floor. The lamps are bolted to the tables. Even the ashtrays can't be moved.
Oh, I see. How on earth did you discover this, Kent?
Well, fortunately, I can see through...
See through what? Walls?
Hardly, sir. What I meant was that I could see through tricks like this.
Oh.
I knew the apartment couldn't be empty, and yet it was, despite the fact that there hadn't been time to strip it of its furnishings.
I still can't believe it, Kent. You said Heller was clever. Brilliant is the word.
Oh.
If you hadn't stumbled on this ingenious device, Heller might have kept this hideout a secret from us forever. Oh, now, what about Miss Lane?
Her disappearance puzzles me. Your men have searched the building from top to bottom, haven't they?
Not only that, but every employee from the janitor up has been grilled. No, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's to be expected. I'm certain they're all in Heller's employ.
Where could Miss Lane be?
Well, either with Heller or trailing him. From the looks of things, I'm afraid she's with him. That's why he skipped out in such a hurry. Lois probably tipped him off that we knew about this hideout.
And to find her, we've got to find Heller. It won't be so easy. I wish she hadn't interfered.
So do I, but that's water over the dam. The damage is done. All we can do is try and correct it. Heller has the only existing set of blueprints showing how to construct a mechanical man. And he has Lois. Thus far, things have been going his way. That won't last long.
Well, what do you propose doing?
Well, first, we've got to know how Heller left the building.
certainly didn't go out the front entrance, not if he had Lois with him.
Well, we've had men stationed front and back for a week, Kent. I told you we were watching the building. I have a complete report here in my pocket. Yeah, now let's see. Ella entered the building through the front entrance 5 days ago, and he never left.
And yet he's gone.
Well, how? He may be clever, but he certainly can't fly.
Wait a minute. Fly?
Oh, don't be silly, Kent. After all, there's a limit to...
No, wait.
Huh?
You remember my telling you I heard a strange hissing sound like escaping steam?
Yes, but what's that got to do with it?
When you mentioned flying, something struck me. Let's have a look at the terrace. We may find something interesting.
All right, I don't know what you expect to find out here.
There's no telling. I'd better lead the way. It's pretty dark.
Yeah, here, wait a minute. I've got a pocket flash.
Oh, good. Let me have it, will you? Thanks. There, that's better.
Well, look at the size of this terrace.
Big enough to park a small plane, isn't it?
Kent, is that what you're thinking, that Hella had a plane up here?
Possible, isn't it?
Well, hardly. There isn't even enough room for a takeoff and landing of an autogyro, much less a regular airplane.
Hold up a minute. What are those steel cylinders stacked up there?
Oh, that's strange. Yeah, let's look at them.
Yeah. Compressed air cylinders. That's what made that hissing sound.
Yeah, but what are they used for?
I don't know, but we're going to find out. Great Scott.
What is it, Kent?
Look, where I'm shining the light.
Huh?
There's an opening in the brick wall. Come on.
Okay, now be careful, Kent. Neither of us is armed.
There's nothing in here but some mechanism. Look at it, Major. What do you think it is?
I don't know, Kent. I've never seen anything like it before. And what's your guess?
It isn't a guess. That's an airplane catapult, operated by compressed air. Heller did get away in a plane.
Well, now, not so fast, Kent. Mustn't jump at conclusions. What makes you think this mechanism is a plane catapult?
Well, I've seen catapults on naval airplane carriers. This one is similar.
Well, maybe you're right, but... Oh, now, wait a minute. It's impossible. How could they ever get a plane into this opening in the wall? It's deep enough, but it can't be more than 10 feet wide. A plane needs wings to fly, you know.
Well, maybe the wings on this plane fold back against the fuselage. When it's catapulted, it shoots up like a rocket. The wings unfold and it flies.
Can't you're letting your imagination run away with you? It's like something out of a book.
Well, anything's possible in this day and age. You never would have believed a complete room could be turned inside out.
No, but...
The more I think about this, the more I'm convinced we have the answer.
But can't a plane with folding wings that could be shot into the air like a rocket would be invaluable?
Well...
If Heller's using one, it can't be any secret to his government.
Probably isn't.
Well, then why haven't they made use of them in the war?
Maybe they are. You remember the sudden Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor? Hundreds of planes came over. Too many to be launched from a carrier. Well, it might very well have been that most of those planes were catapulted from the decks of destroyers with mechanisms like this. Shot into the air like rockets, one after the other.
You really think so?
It's possible. As I said, almost anything is.
All the more reason for getting our hands on Max Heller quickly. I'll put every man in the department on his trail.
We never catch him that way. And if we did, what good would it do us? He's a naturalized American citizen, isn't he?
Yes. But if we can ever prove he's a foreign agent, he'll lose that citizenship fast enough.
Yeah, that's just the point. We can't afford to bring him in until we have an airtight case against him. Of course, if he's abducted Lois, that's enough to put him behind bars for a good long stretch.
Oh, I'd forgotten about Miss Lane and all this excitement. You're convinced Heller has taken her with him?
Oh, no question about it. She'll make a perfect hostage in case he gets into a jam.
But isn't he liable to do her some harm?
No. Heller's too smart for that. Lois is worth more to him alive. That's why I'm not too worried, at least for the present. Only one thing that bothers me. How are we going to locate Heller?
Well, there's only one way. Put 2,000 trained men on this trail.
I'd like to avoid that if we can. Let him think he's fooled us. Then he won't be on his guard. Sooner or later, he'll come back here. Or one of his henchmen will.
Yes, I know, Kent, but he has the blueprints for that mechanical man. He'll start building those steel monsters and creating panic. You know what happened when that first one got loose? It terrified people.
Don't worry about that. After all, he's in America. You can't find facilities for building 10-foot steel giants on every corner. That takes time, and it must be done undercover.
Well, after what I've seen tonight, I'm almost ready to believe it can create miracles. But I'm willing to go along with you if whatever you suggest doesn't endanger the lives of innocent people. All we need is one more mechanical man scared to throw this country into panic, and that's what men like Heller are trying to do. Get under our skin, frighten us, break down morale. They did it in Norway and Denmark and France. We can't let them do it here.
They won't. Americans don't frighten that easily.
I hope you're right. Well, what's the next step?
We'll leave everything as we found it. Let's get back and turn that room into 4 bare walls again. Come on.
It seems to me we're taking a long chance.
Wait a minute.
What's the matter?
Someone's in the apartment. I heard a door open.
It may be one of my men.
Let's make sure first. Listen.
Hey, that's not one of my men.
No, it's one of Heller's. Don't move.
Hey, Kent, they're coming out here. We're trapped.
Fine. We're going to let them capture us. Are you mad? It's the only way to discover where Heller's hiding out. They'll take us to him. Now, don't resist.
But they must have guns. They'll shoot to kill.
No, they won't. Quiet. Here they come.
Crouched in the darkness, Kent and Major Campbell listened to the approaching footsteps of Heller's henchmen. Undoubtedly, the foreign agents are armed, and although Kent has no fear of their guns himself, one stray bullet knifing out of the black may take the life of Major Campbell. What will happen? Don't miss the next startling episode. Tune in and listen, We're the Superman.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
The bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice. But before we join Superman, listen.
And now to our story. When Clark Kent and Major Campbell, chief of the Espionage Division of the Secret Service, investigated the penthouse apartment of Max Heller, head of a foreign spy ring, they discovered two startling things. One, that the walls and floor of each room in the apartment could be turned inside out by throwing a switch. In this way, the apartment could be made to appear unoccupied. But more amazing was the airplane catapult Kent found on the terrace. Operated by compressed air, it was capable of shooting a plane into the sky like a rocket, provided the plane was equipped with folding wings. Kent surmised this was the case and decided Heller and his partner, the Yellow Mask, had escaped in that manner, taking Lois Lane with them. As Kent and Major Campbell walked back along the terrace, they heard the guttural voices of foreigners, and two of Heller's men approached in the darkness. Listen.
We're going to give ourselves up, Major Campbell. Don't resist them.
Kent, you're out of your mind.
No, I'm not. We can't possibly locate Heller's new hideout unless they take us there as prisoners. It's the only way. Now, trust me.
But you don't know these men. They're killers. They won't hesitate.
Quiet. Wait a minute. Here they come. I'll handle it.
We're right here.
Get down, Major.
See, Kent, I told you.
Just keep low and start crawling back. They can't see us in the dark. Once we get around that bend behind the brick wall, we're all right. Come on.
We haven't a chance now. They know we're here. We're dead men, Kent.
All right, slip behind the wall.
Now what? Just a matter of time. No way of getting off this terrace except through those French doors.
I didn't think they'd shoot.
That's because you don't know them. Listen to the filthy beggars.
What are they saying?
They couldn't catch it all, but the first one said not to waste bullets until they saw us.
I think I'll give them that opportunity. They crave fight, they'll get it. You stay here.
Now, Kent, where are you going?
Take their toy pistols away.
Hey, Kent, you're mad. It's suicide.
Don't worry, Major. I can handle them.
Kent, come back. Hey, Kent.
Might be suicide for anyone else, but it's just a little workout.
For Superman. All right, my quick-triggered friends. Here's your chance to get a little free target practice.
Go.
I'll shine Campbell's flashlight in my face just to make it easy for them. Here goes. Ah, not bad at all. Two of those bounced off my chest. Poor Campbell, he's dying 1,000 deaths. Probably thinks I'm riddled by this time. So do those heinies. Here they come. Now for the finishing touch.
Well, you boys aren't bad with guns. Now let's use this. Try this aside. That was a perfect fit. Now, how about you? Swinging that gun won't help you, but this might.
There, it did. Helped you right into dreamland. Next time you won't play so rough.
Kent, where are you? Answer me.
Right. Almost made a mistake then. Used my real voice. This has to be Kent talking.
I'm right here, Major Campbell. Everything's okay. You can come out from behind that wall.
Kent, you're alive. How did you survive those bullets? I can't believe it.
There's the proof. Two ice-cold foreign agents. Ugly devils, aren't they?
But, Ken, how did you do it? I heard 3 shots.
Neither of them could hit the side of a barn. Shall we drag them inside? It's a cinch they're not going to walk for a while. You take the little one. I'll handle this big one.
All right. You don't know the meaning of fear, Kent. Not another man alive would have done what you did. It's beyond all belief. Washington will hear about this.
I'd much rather they wouldn't. Here, dump these specimens in the corner. Yeah, it's fine. I expected the entire police department to be up here by this time.
Well, those shots may have sounded like backfiring down on the street.
Wait a minute. What's that?
It sounds like Morse code.
It's coming from behind those bookshelves. Here?
Yes.
One of these shelves must open or slide back. Ah, this one probably. The books on it are dummies. Now, wait a minute. Let's see here.
You think there's a radio behind it?
I'm sure of it. Here, I've got it. It swings around on a pivot.
It's a radio, all right.
Sir, shortwave sending and receiving set, voice and key.
Hey, wait a minute. That isn't Morse code.
No. It's code of some kind. Listen.
Nothing I ever heard before.
No. Let's get some of it down on paper. Maybe we can decipher it later. Do you have a pencil?
Yes.
All right. Let's get as much as we can. May give us a clue.
As Kent and Major Campbell attempt to record the dots and dashes of the unknown wireless code coming from the hidden shortwave receiver, a strange scene is being enacted in the basement room of an abandoned factory 200 miles from the city of Metropolis. There, Max Heller is bent over a portable shortwave wireless transmitter, sending the coded message Kent and Campbell are attempting to receive. Standing beside him is his new partner in espionage, the Yellow Mask.
It's no use. Strauss isn't there. I told him I would get to him promptly at midnight. Something must have happened.
He may have forgotten.
My men never forget. It amounts to suicide. No, something has gone wrong. Strauss would be there.
How could anything have gone wrong? Everyone in this apartment house works for you, from the janitor up.
I know, but there's always a chance. I don't like it. It may mean finding another location in the city. That will be difficult.
You know who's to blame if anything has gone wrong, Heller?
Who?
That Lane girl.
Well, bring her in. Perhaps she has changed her mind about talking.
I doubt it.
No, Strauss could not have forgotten. He's too reliable. Something has happened. I know it.
Let go of my arm.
Here she is, Heller.
Close the door.
Now, what do you want? I thought I made it clear to you, Heller, that all the questioning in the world won't do you a bit of good.
There will be no more questioning, Miss Lane. I think shortly you will be willing to tell me how you knew of my headquarters in the city.
Well, think again.
Once is enough. Have you ever seen a mechanical man, Miss Lane?
She's seen one, all right. She wrote that story in the Daily Planet when Thornton's model got loose. She was an eyewitness.
Is that true?
Isn't everything the Yellow Mask says true?
This is no time for humor. Evidently you fail to realize we are not playing a game. Whether or not I learn how you discovered my whereabouts is relatively unimportant. It's just that I am curious. And frequently I will go to any extremes to satisfy my curiosity. You understand?
I find this very boring.
I should endeavor to make it more interesting for you, Miss Lane. But first I must explain a few things. You know, of course, what my mission is in this country.
I know what your end will be. Prison or life. And that'll be too good.
I appreciate your concern. But to go on. I am here, Miss Lane, to create panic through fear and destruction. We are fighting a war, your country and mine. I have pledged myself to help win that war with all means at my disposal.
Why don't you get a few poison snakes? They'd be good company for you and this, reptile.
Let me handle the Heller. I'll make a talk.
One moment. I will do all the handling for the present. Now, as I was saying, Miss Lane, my mission must be performed at any cost. You may not know it, but I have secured the plans and blueprints showing the construction of the mechanical men with which you are familiar. They have been in my possession scarcely 24 hours, and yet we have made amazing progress.
Very interesting.
You will learn how interesting in a few moments. I am going to show you the first of the steel men we have created in this seemingly deserted factory. I'm going to let you decide how he shall be used.
Oh, I wouldn't want to rob you of the pleasure. After all, destruction is your business.
There will be other mechanical men, as many as my mechanics can build. But this one, the first, will be dedicated to you. He is waiting for you, all bright and shining, in the large room across the corridor. Shall we look him over?
I'll decline that privilege if you don't mind.
But I do mind. You must join us, Miss Lane. I said you must join us.
All right. If it satisfies your twisted sense of humor.
Just across the corridor. The mask will open the door for you. Behold, the mechanical man, Miss Lane. The steel monster that will drive strong men to seek shelter. The 10-foot giant that will carry death and destruction in his massive hands. Behold him.
You're nothing but an animal, Heller.
We will save the compliments for some other time. Now watch, while I press a button on this control. Watch how he walks. So. Enough of that. There is something else. I have gone further than your American inventor. I have given the mechanical man the power of speech. Now he can talk. I pressed his button. Listen.
I am the mechanical man. Nothing can stop me. Run for your lives. Run. I am
Why
the
do you shrink back, Miss
mechanical
Lane?
man.
It doesn't frighten you, does it?
Let me out of here.
Just a moment. This is your mechanical man, if you remember. He is ready to be sent out on his first assignment. I was thinking perhaps that it would be wise to send him to one of the shipyards close by. You see, the carrier on his chest is loaded with incendiary bombs. They will explode when he reaches the yard. There is much wood in a shipyard. It will burn easily.
And so will the men working there.
You're both raving maniacs. You're not human. You can't be. Even dogs have more sense of decency.
You wish to save the shipyard from destruction, Miss Lane? You would like to spare the lives of the men who might be trapped in the fire? Well, it is very simple. Tell us who else besides yourself knew of my whereabouts in the city. Tell us how and why you paid me a visit masquerading as a foreign agent.
You think I'm a fool, Hella?
On the contrary, I regard you as a very sensible young woman. You have it within your power to prevent a catastrophe.
The answer is no.
Roll back the side doors, please.
With pleasure.
Have you changed your mind, Miss Lane?
The answer is still no.
Very well. And we shall send our monster on his way.
I am the mechanical man. Nothing can stop me. Run for your lives. Run.
Terrified, Lois looks on as the huge 10-foot steel giant heads for the open doors, mouthing its horrible chant. Will she stop it, or is it too late? The lives of innocent men hang in the balance. What will happen? Don't forget to be with us for the next thrilling episode. Tune in and listen with Superman.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Tom Corbett. Hey, Cadet. Stand by to raise ship. Blast off -5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with Tom Corbett. Hey, Cadet. Aboard a giant passenger spaceship rocketing toward the planet Venus, Space Cadets Tom Corbett and Roger Manning have solved the murder of Barton Reed, a representative from the ruling council of Venus. Now, with Nestor Deegan, a former suspect, they make their way down the companionways of the ship to the jet boat deck, where the assassin is being held prisoner in one of the airlocks.
I still can't get over it. Who would have thought a beautiful space doll like Alexandra Stone knocked off Barton Reed?
She's a very clever and unscrupulous woman, Cadet Manning.
Yeah, she almost had us believing you were guilty, Mr. Deegan. Go on, not me, Tom. I had her pegged from the minute I saw her.
But, Cadet Manning, you just said...
Don't pay any attention to him, Mr. Deegan. Roger always knows everything after it's happened. Oh, I do, huh? Well, listen here, you little space nut. Have your tubes, Roger. This is the jet boat deck. Now, let's collect our prisoner. Which airlock was she caught in, Mr. Deegan?
Number 3, port side. When I warned the captain about her, he sealed the outer portal.
Neat little trap. Sure glad it worked. She's got plenty of explaining to do.
Oh, there's Baxter, the flight engineer. He's been waiting for you, I guess.
Uh-huh. Right in front of airlock 3.
Congratulations, Cadet. You did a very neat job with that time bomb. Skipper asked me to tell you he was notifying Commander Arkwright of your good work.
Well, thank you, sir. I hope it makes up for the way we used his orders.
What then?
Nothing, sir. How about the prisoner? Can we talk to her?
Talk to her?
Yeah, she's going to tell us why she murdered Barton Reed.
This is very important, Mr. Baxter. There's a dangerous plot against the Council of Venus, and she's the only one who can tell us who's behind it.
You've got to let us talk to her.
I would, Cadet Corbett, only...
Only what?
Well, I thought you knew. She tried to escape. Climbed out of the jet boat to open the outer airlock portal by manual control.
She what?
She forgot the airlock pressure was high. When she opened the portal, she was pulled out into space. Alexandra Stone is dead.
Find anything yet, Roger? No, not a blasted thing. Except that doll sure wore some classy clothes. No, forget the clothes. We need something important. Okay.
Corbett, if we don't find anything here in Alexandra Stone's compartment, if we don't get a clue to the identity of her masters, the ruling council of Venus is doomed.
Look, Mr. Deacon, what's this all about anyway? And how do you fit in? Who are you anyway?
I think you deserve to know, Corbett, especially after what you and Manning have done. I am a special operative for the Council of Venus. I was assigned to guard Barton Reed on his flight to Earth.
Oh?
Yes, I know what you're thinking. I didn't do a very good job of it. But then I didn't know of his plans to switch uniforms with Manning when he first arrived.
I see. But why did Barton Reed come to Earth in the first place?
To get help from the Solar Guard in stopping a revolution that threatens Venus.
A revolution?
Yes. We don't know who the leaders are, and we don't know when it will begin. But undoubtedly it will be soon. If we could only find out who these men are and where they will strike, we can be ready for them.
But how can a revolution succeed? The Solar Guard will throw everything into the fight.
These men are looking for a quick victory before the Solar Guard can even organize a defense.
Hey, Mr. Deacon, I got something, I think.
What is it?
Well, let's see, Roger. This scrap of paper. It was folded in a locket the doll had. Found it by accident in a jewelry case. Oh, funny. All it says is Atmosphere Station 5. Yeah. Now, why should she keep something like this in a locket? Mean anything to you, Mr. Deacon?
No, except an atmosphere station is a vital part of life on Venus. Without them, we could never survive.
Hey, you think those jokers behind the revolution intend to knock off the station?
No, impossible.
I don't see why, Mr. Deacon. The maintenance crews certainly wouldn't expect an attack. They'd be helpless.
Well, perhaps you're right.
Tom, as soon as we land, we'd better see what gives at that station. For once, you're right.
No, you cadets have done enough. You must return to Earth now.
Oh, no, we didn't come this far to quit now.
But it may be very dangerous.
It hasn't been exactly clear sailing up to now. No, Mr. Deacon. We're following through all the way.
Very well, just as you wish, Cadet Corbett. But remember one thing. In dealing with these revolutionists, failure means death. We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
Spaceman, today you're going to hear a very important message from Commander Arkwright. Now, Commander Arkwright put this message on the telerecorder system with special instructions that you hear him at this time. Commander Arkwright.
As the Commandant of Space Academy, it is my responsibility to see that only the best young men are permitted to become Space Cadets. Each year, I have personally checked the records to make sure every cadet is in his best possible physical condition. In questioning these young men, I have noticed one outstanding fact. In every case, the men who appeared to be the best choices were young men who were careful to eat good, nourishing foods. Now, one of these good foods is Kellogg's Pep. Pep is a 100% whole wheat cereal. And in addition to getting all the advantages of wheat in Kellogg's Pep, you also get a full day's supply of needed vitamin D in every serving. Besides vitamin D, Pep also gives you vitamin B1. So take my advice. To help get yourself in the kind of condition to meet the standards of Space Academy, eat Kellogg's Pep. You will find it's a fine-tasting cereal as well as a nourishing one. End transmission.
Well, there you are, Spaceman, right from Commander Arkwright. For built-up food values and a delicious malty-rich flavor, ask your mom to get Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Scattered over the surface of Venus at intervals of 2,000 miles are immense towering structures of gleaming metal and permaglass. These are the atmosphere stations, the lungs of the misty planet, supplying its inhabitants with breathable air. Now, Tom and Roger have arrived at Station 5, and tour the installation with the commanding officer, Captain Bridges.
We're standing on the control platform now, cadets. It's the nerve center of the atmosphere station. We're 100 feet above the floor. From this panel, we can regulate every phase of operations. The men you see working below are the maintenance crew.
Wow, it's a long way down, Captain Bridges.
Yes, and it's an even longer way up, if you'll notice. Above us is the output tower. The manufactured air is pumped out into the space surrounding Venus at the rate of 8 million cubic feet per minute.
Well, how do you manufacture the air?
From the original atmosphere. It's taken apart to make free oxygen and free nitrogen, leaving hydrogen, which escapes into space. We hold the oxygen by freezing it, and we move it through these pipes over here into large combine chambers where normal Earth atmosphere is created.
A little sabotage around here, and the people of Venus would be in a mess of trouble.
Yes, indeed, Cadet Manning. And from what you've told me, we'll have to be prepared. I've already doubled the guard, and I'm making a thorough check on every man in the crew.
Isn't there anything that can be done if these stations are sabotaged?
Yes. We're preparing the old cities.
The old cities?
That's right, Corbett. The first colonists on Venus built cities under huge glass domes. They still exist. Several of them are being secretly restored, just in case of emergency.
Great jumping Jupiter, what happened?
One of the oxygen pipes is broken.
Well, that one over there, look, the stuff is pouring out. Let's get out of here.
Close your eyes, both of you, or they'll be frozen.
But how can we see? Keep your hands on the guardrail. Follow us to the emergency stairs.
No, before it's too late. Here's the inspection report on that accident this morning, Corbett. Care to see it?
Yes, please, Captain Bridges. Uh-huh. I'm not surprised. How about letting me in on it, Tom? Well, listen, this is the last paragraph, Roger. In conclusion, close examination of the oxygen feed pipe clearly revealed the break could not have occurred through structural failure. You don't have to read any more, pal. The answer is sabotage. Exactly.
But not a very effective form of sabotage, boys.
What do you mean, sir?
Well, if somebody wanted to really knock out the station, he wouldn't have done it that way. All we had to do was shut off the oxygen supply.
But what about the way the stuff poured out?
It still wouldn't cause too much damage. Unless there was an open fire around, wouldn't even harm personnel. Not where the break occurred, anyway.
It almost got us, didn't it?
Exactly.
Hey, now I know what you're driving at, sir. Somebody was laying for us.
Right.
Oh, brother, here we go again. Sir, do you have any idea who might have done it?
We suspect a man named Ford. He's only been working here at the station for 2 months, and he disappeared right after the accident.
Well, that's something of a lead. Suppose we try to find this joker. Suits me fine. Let's see if he can take it as well as he dishes it out. Right. We'll check with you later, Captain.
All right, Corbett. But watch yourselves, both of you. It looks like you're a couple of important targets.
Hello? Hello, this is Ford reporting.
It's about time. Where have you been?
Hiding out. They're looking for me.
Of course they are. You're a bungler, Ford. An incredible bungler. Not only did you fail to remove the cadets, but you disappeared from your job at the atmosphere station and called attention to yourself.
But I knew there would be an investigation.
Exactly why you should have stayed. Now you've alerted the guards of future sabotage, and you'll make our whole scheme more difficult.
But there was nothing else I could do.
You could have used your head. No matter. The important thing is those cadets. They've got to be put out of the way. They've done nothing but snoop around since they arrived, probing into everything. They're dangerous. Ford?
Yes?
I'm going to give you a chance to redeem yourself.
What do you want me to do?
I've no doubt that Corbett and Manning are looking for you. You make it easy for them to catch you.
Catch me, but they'll...
They won't do anything to you. They're interested in bigger fish. By showing just the right degree of reluctance and resistance, you can lead them here. After that, I'll take care of them. My own manner.
Well, we're doing real great, Tom. 2 days since we started looking for Ford, not a sign of him.
Feather your jets, Roger. We'll find him. As a matter of fact, he'll come to us.
What makes you so sure?
Hourly transmissions are being made by telespeople, asking all Solar Guard stations on Venus to be on the lookout for Ford. The revolutionary group he's tied up with is sure to intercept those transmissions.
So what?
So this. They'll send Ford to us.
You're space happy.
Not at all. They'll want to find out exactly how much we know before they get rid of us. They'll want to find out if the Solar Guard is preparing any kind of defense.
And we'll be just the ones to tell them.
Go on, I still think you're space happy.
I am, eh? Well, I'll bet you a new uniform. That's Ford now.
It's a bet.
Okay. Open the door.
Furthermore, if it's Ford, I'll polish your boots for a year.
I'm looking for Cadet Corbett or Cadet Manning.
I'm Manning.
My name is Ford. I understand you've been looking for
Great golly.
Come in, Mr. Ford. I've been expecting you. Start reaching for that boot polish, Roger.
Okay.
You're Cadet Corbett?
That's right.
I came here to see if I could make a deal with you two.
What sort of a deal?
I've been mixed up in something pretty dangerous here on Venus. I'm not my own master. Because of my past, I'm forced to work for men who would stop at nothing.
Including getting rid of us.
Yes. You see, they want to take over this planet and establish a government of their own. I didn't bargain for that.
So you want out. Is that it?
I want my record cleared and all charges against me dropped. If you can arrange that, I'll identify all the leaders of this revolutionary movement.
Well, that isn't up to us.
But you'll put in a good word for me, won't you? You'll tell the Solar Guard I helped you?
Sure, if you do.
Fair enough. Now, we'll have to move fast. They plan to strike tonight against the atmosphere station.
How much time have we got?
Less than 2 hours.
Okay. I'll call headquarters and warn them right away.
No, not yet, Corbett.
Why not?
I don't know which station they're going to hit. And it would be foolish to concentrate a defense around one and have the enemy attack another.
That adds up, Tom. There aren't enough men to guard them all.
But still,
As soon as we find out which one is the target, you can contact headquarters by space radio. There'll still be time.
We're wasting what little time we've got. Come on, Tom. On the ball.
Say, listen, Ford. How much farther do we have to go in this jet boat?
Be there in another minute, Corbett.
Hey, Tom, he's taking us pretty far away from Venusport, and we've only got 45 minutes left.
Yeah, I know, Roger.
Think he's on the level?
Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to play along.
Where's he taking us, anyway?
The headquarters of the whole revolutionary movement.
Oh, yeah? What are we going to do there? Take on the whole bunch of them, the two of us?
No, we're just going in to see who the leaders are and find out where they're going to attack first. Then we contact headquarters.
We're going in, huh? Just like that, I suppose. Maybe they'll invite us to have tea.
Now, wait a minute, will you? We'll be wearing spacesuits. Everyone will look alike.
Oh, well, why didn't you say so?
Corbett, Manning, better put your suits on now. You're going to land.
Right. Hurry up, Roger.
Yeah, all the time, hurry. One of these days, we're going to hurry ourselves right into the grave.
Some installation here. All those characters outside are armed to the teeth.
Yes, with heat rays. Once those men are turned loose against the atmosphere stations...
You don't have to say it, Tom. The crews won't have a chance unless we warn them in time.
Down this tunnel now, Corbett.
We're right behind you, Ford.
When are we going to catch up to the leaders of this mob?
The inner chamber where the final plans for attack are being made is down at the end of this tunnel. I'll take you into the chamber next to it, and you'll be able to hear everything there.
Good.
As soon as we get the information we need, we'll beat it back to the jet boat and alert headquarters.
Yes, that is the best plan, Corbett.
Hey, Tom, I was just thinking, wouldn't it be something if we brought in the leaders ourselves?
Now, don't get any big ideas, pal. One thing at a time.
Okay, it was just an idea.
Hey, get a load of these pipes along the tunnel. They look familiar to you?
Oh, yeah, just like the pipes at the atmosphere stations, the ones that carried liquid oxygen.
This installation is a small-scale atmosphere station. The leaders planned well. When they knock out the ones on the surface, they'll be protected down here.
Oh, brother, what an operation.
Quietly now. That portal at the end of the tunnel opens into the main chamber where the meeting is taking place. You two go in here. Wait, I'll open the portal.
Hey, pretty dark in there.
I'll switch on the light as soon as we're inside. Go on now.
Come on, Tom. Let's get this over with. Which way?
Just stand where you are, Corbett.
Hey, who's that?
There. You recognize me in the light, Manning?
Deegan. What in the universe are you doing here?
This is where I belong, Manning. And I must say, you don't look very surprised, Corbett.
Frankly, Deegan, I'm not. Hey, will somebody please tell me what gives around here?
That's pretty simple, Roger. Our friend Nestor Deegan is the real leader of the revolution.
We'll return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by. Say, spaceman, do you want a cereal that helps you to build strong bones and muscles? Do you want a cereal that gives you food energy for a quick morning blast-off? Well, then, you want Kellogg's Pep. Yes, sir. That's the super space cereal that's a breakfast time favorite from here to Neptune. And, mister,
The first time you sit down to a bowl full of Kellogg's Pep, you'll know why. What a flavor. Why you won't settle for less than second helpings. And just remember, at the same time you're enjoying the taste of Pep, you'll be taking on Sunshine Vitamin D and Vitamin B1. You'll be taking on top-notch food energy, too. Food energy to help you blast off for a busy day. All the cadets here at Space Academy eat plenty of Kellogg's Pep every morning. So, if you want to start your day the way Tom, Astro, Roger, and all the fellas do, you eat Pep, too. Ask your mom to start serving Kellogg's Pep tomorrow morning. Rustle lots of Pep into your cereal bowl. Pour on the milk. Sprinkle some sugar and dig in. When you taste Pep, you want to start every day the spaceman's way with Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep.
Led into the secret headquarters of the revolutionary movement on Venus, Tom and Roger find Nestor Deegan waiting for them triumphantly. But Tom shows little surprise, and as he holds them at the point of a heat ray gun, Deegan questions the cadets.
So you knew I was the leader of the revolution, eh, Corbett?
I didn't know that, but I was sure you were tied up in it somehow.
You're very well informed. Who talked?
You did, Deegan.
Me?
Yes, back in Alexandra Stone's compartment on the passenger ship. When you told us you were guarding Barton Reed.
Well?
You said you didn't know of his plans to switch uniforms with Roger, which meant that you really did know, because nobody ever mentioned that to you or anybody else. You just kept toying with us, helping us search Alexandra Stone's compartment to find out if she left any clues behind.
Hey, that's right. You were the only one who knew we were going to Atmosphere Station 5, and that's where Ford tried to get us.
Well, very clever of you, boys.
But if they knew all this, why did they come here with me?
To nail everything down, get proof.
And what are you going to do with it?
I don't have to do anything. Captain Bridges and a detachment of the Solar Guard will be here in 10 minutes to clean out this nest of rats.
What? Oh, did anyone follow you?
No, I swear.
You're wrong, pal. You were followed by tracer beam. Here. You see this belt communicator? It's wide open, sending out a steady signal. You hear? Captain Bridges has been following this signal with his tracer. He knows exactly where we are.
Ford, get that. Destroy it.
Yes, sir.
There. Thanks, Ford. You just gave the final signal.
What do you mean?
The minute the signal stopped, Captain Bridges knew that we were at your headquarters. So now he'll close in.
Why, you...
Sir, we've got to get out of here.
All right. Stand over there against that wall, both of you.
What are you going to do?
You'll find out. Now stay there.
Sure, Deegan. We've got all the time in the world.
Oh, no, you haven't, Corbett. Ford.
Yes, sir.
I want you to get every man out of here. Tell the unit commander to begin the attack.
But it's not time.
Tom, we gotta do something fast. Deacon's sure to burn us down with that heat ray of his.
I know. Now get this. There's an oxygen pipe connection right behind me.
So?
I'm opening it.
Great galaxy.
Shut up and listen. The stuff is leaking out right now, and it'll turn to vapor fast. When Deegan fires that ray, the oxygen will ignite. There'll be an explosion.
And what happens to us?
We'll have to take our chances. And we'll have to move fast to duck that ray. Now drop when he fires.
Okay.
Let me know when you're finished, huh? All right, now, you two.
Get ready.
Your interference has endangered my plans, but if I move fast enough, there's a chance for success.
Not much, Junior.
You certainly won't know about it. Hey, what's that noise?
I don't hear anything.
The oxygen. You've opened the valve. Why, you...
No, Roger!
I'll fry you.
Stay down, Roger! Stay down! The oxygen is igniting!
Well, cadets, looks like you both had real spaceman's luck.
I'll say we did, Captain Bridges.
Just a few burns, that's all. Deegan really got the full force of the blast.
Will he pull through, sir?
Yes, although I'm sure he'd rather not. Life on the prison asteroid is no bed of roses. Oh, by the way, I got an audiogram from Commander Arkwright.
Uh-oh, I'm afraid of this.
How many demerits do we get?
Well, in view of what you did, he's willing to forget the whole thing.
Is that all? No medals?
Medals?
Roger, I'll settle for this any time.
Not me. Why, after all the detective work I put in...
You put in?
Sure. Didn't I tell you back at the beginning that Deegan was our man? But no, you wouldn't listen to me. I talk and talk, but you never even...
Cadet Manning.
Yes, sir?
Haven't you wondered why Corbett never told you about using the tracer beam to locate Deegan's headquarters?
Yeah, I have.
It's just because you talk and talk. So suppose you do something about your mouth right now, eh?
Yeah, Roger. Like cramming the other foot into it, too.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Tuesday, when the crew of the Polaris receives sudden orders to blast off for Titan to take part in a mission of mercy. Tune in, same time, same station on Tuesday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet.
Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the Build-Up Wheat Cereal.
Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, starring Frankie Thomas, can also be seen on television and appears in the comic sections of many of America's leading newspapers. Look for it daily and in weekend editions. Featured in today's cast were Jan Merlin, Peter Capell, and William Keane. Today's program was written by Elwood Hoffman, directed by Drex Hines. Jackson Beck speaking.
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret. Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
And what a secret! In Kellogg's Raisin Bran, the tasty raisins are dipped in honeycomb. That means plumper, more tender raisins, along with delicious golden crisp bran flakes. Both fruit and cereal all in one box. And no other raisin bran but Kellogg's gives you the tender goodness of raisins dipped in honeycomb. That's Kellogg's secret. So for your breakfast, make sure you get Kellogg's, because
Kellogg's Raisin Bran has a secret.
This program came to you from New York. America is sold on ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Every day grind. Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are standing guard deep in the forests of Africa, while around you, closing in on you, are the dreaded Mau Mau, who, if you relax your guard, will kill you.
Listen now as Escape brings you John Dehner's terrifying story, Lili and the Colonel.
I first met Colonel M.O.V. Abernathy at the Rift Valley Club, Kenya Colony, East Africa. The Rift Valley Club, being a particular club of particular people, frowned with beetling brow upon the occasional invasion of its dignity by people like myself. Unqualified, of no particular family or traditional distinctions. Possibly because I was a Sandhurst man. A lieutenant with the Lancashire Fusiliers had something to do with my invitation into the hallowed circle. At all events, I was invited, and I went.
Sandhurst, eh?
That's right, sir.
Sandhurst. I was at Sandhurst myself, 1917.
That's her, sir. Well...
Still turning them out the way they used to?
Not knowing how they used to turn them out, I couldn't say, sir.
Capital. At least they turn them out with humor. Only thing that's kept me alive, a sense of humor.
Yes, I can see that.
Sent down from Suez, were you?
Yes, sir. Yes,
How was old Suez? Haven't been there for 14 years.
Oh, as it always has been, I suppose. I don't imagine it would change much.
And now you are here to save us from the Mau Mau.
I'm quite sure you can save yourselves, Colonel.
Of course we could if it weren't for the bunglers and their bungling.
The second time I met Colonel Abernathy was under quite different circumstances. My patrol had been called to the farm of one James C. Curry to investigate a murder. On the way, I stopped by Colonel Abernathy's house and brought him along in case identification was needed. He knew everybody in the valley. It was difficult to identify, but on viewing the remains, the colonel decided that since the boots were of crocodile leather, and his friend had a liking for crocodile boots, the sum of the two must add up to the body of James C. Curry himself lying under the rose bush. Neither of us said a word as I drove him home.
Come in for a moment.
Oh, thank you, sir, but I really should be getting back to quarters.
Nonsense. Lancashire Fusiliers won't cease operations because their brightest officer isn't back on the dot. Anyway, you need a drink.
Well, I could use one, sir.
Good. Corbett?
Colonel of Nettie, you back, Warner?
Tell your mistress.
She have blast headache. I tell her you come back.
Headache? Always having a headache. Oh, sit down, Temple. I'll have your drink in a moment.
Oh, thank you, sir. Incidentally, while your boy is out, may I ask, sir, is he Kikuyu?
Governor? No, he's Jalua. I think he's tribal Jalua. Here, I'm giving it to you straight. Slice through any fog.
Thank you. You're not sure he's Jalua?
Well, I'll ask him when he comes back. Now, young man, a toast to James C. Curry, as fine a man as ever breathed. Dead today at the hands of the Mau Mau.
James C. Curry.
Mrs. Abnetti say headache much better. She will come in moment.
Good. Ngambri, Lubana will have another whiskey.
Yes, Warner. I will fix it.
Oh, thank you, sir. Very good.
I tell you, Temple, that...
I beg your pardon, Colonel, but you asked...
who? Yes. Ngambri.
Warner.
What are you?
Warner?
Tribe. What tribe do you belong to?
I am Jalua.
Does the Jalua have Mau Mau? What the devil do you do that for? Don't stand there quaking like an idiot. What do you say?
Mau Mau is only Kipsigi and Kikiu. I am Jalua.
Very well. Now give Mr. Temple his drink and then get out.
Yes, Warner. Drink one.
Blasted idiot.
I don't believe him.
You think he's a Kikuyu?
I do, sir, and the sooner you get rid of him, the better.
Every head boy a Mau Mau, is that it?
If I'm right and he is a Kuk, then it's quite possible that he is also Mau Mau.
And if he is Mau Mau, he'll chop my head off. Weak, sir. Weak.
It happened to Curry. It could happen to others.
You still want to save me?
I'm only here to do what I can, sir. It is my job.
Young man, what happened to Curry needn't happen to me. There are still those who know how to handle this thing, and alone if necessary. In my day, we knew how to keep the old wog in his place. Full justice, mind you, but also this.
That pistol of yours may have seen its day, sir. Times are changing.
Only because men have become too weak to prevent it. I'm surprised that you, a Sandhurst man, should have failed to grasp the fundamental traditions that gave strength to the empire.
What empire, sir?
What empire? Blasted the empire.
Oh, Julian, have you seen Tabbykins? I don't know where that cat can be.
It was the Colonel's lady. She stood half in shadow in the doorway with something of a smile on her lips. An attractive woman, I thought. Perhaps 45 or 50. But when she came towards us and the light fell on her, I could see that what might have been attractive was only an illusion of powder and rouge heavily proportioned and badly applied to an aging, unhappy face.
Oh, my dear, may I introduce Mr. Charles Temple?
Oh, how do you do? Please sit down.
Well, as a matter of fact, I was just leaving.
Oh, no, please. It isn't often that I have an opportunity to talk to a handsome young man. And from the outside world, too.
Oh, well,
What happened today, dear? Why did you run out so quickly? Julian never tells me anything. I'm always in the dark.
Well, I'm afraid that I'm responsible today, Mrs. Abernathy. I needed his help.
Help?
Mr. Temple will tell you. I'm off to bed. Good night.
Good night, sir, and please think over what I said. Get rid of your boy.
Young fellow, I like you. But as for your advice, I shall handle my affairs my way. Good night.
Are you a difficult man, Mr. Temple?
I beg your pardon.
I mean, I hope you're not like Julian. You know, bouncing about and exploding.
Oh, I don't suppose I am. Quite.
I'd be disappointed if you were. And what was it Julian said you'd tell me?
One of your neighbors was killed today.
Killed? Who?
James Curry.
Jim Curry. Jim Curry? Who'd want to kill Jim Curry? Why? Why?
Mrs. Abernathy, please.
Oh, no. No, I'm quite all right. How did it happen?
Mau.
Mama. There must be a way out. There must be a way out.
Yes.
There must be a
Let me
way
get you
out.
something.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Here, you drink this.
Thank you. Better. Oh, that's better.
Yes. Well, I hate to, but I must go now, Mrs. Abernathy.
Oh, please don't. Sit beside me.
Let me call the Colonel. He can live with you.
But he can't help me.
More than I can, I'm sure. Now, please, will you let me... It lay broken at our feet. A cat strung up by the neck to a willow branch. Mrs. Abernathy's cat. And outside, somewhere in the dark, beyond the shattered window, were those who had done this thing. It was the Mau. I heard the Colonel behind me as I ran out of the door. The moon was huge in the sky. It was shining down with a blue-white light, and the beauty of the clearing became suddenly terrifying because of what we knew was lying hidden in the dark trees.
Probably miles away by now.
Yes, I'm afraid so. Wait.
What?
Shot him. Come on.
No.
Give me a hand. Hey, you recognize him?
Never seen this one before.
Got him in the stomach. Let's get him to a hospital right away. He's a big devil. Take him under the shoulder, will you? We'll carry him to the car. I took him to the nearest clinic at Naivasha. All night he hovered between life and death. All night I questioned him vainly, and much of the next day. And then, toward the end, I asked him if he knew he was dying. He rolled his head toward me, and the look in his eyes showed me that he knew he was. It was then that all my questions were answered. Name? Matemba. Tribe? Kikuyu. Mau? Yes. Family? One brother. And this brother was Colonel Abernathy's head boy, Ngumwe. Colonel Abernathy! Colonel Abernathy!
Who's there?
It's Temple.
Oh, thank heaven it's you. Come in. I'm all alone.
Where is the Colonel and Ngumwe?
They've been gone all day. They left me alone. I've never been so terrified in my life.
Will you be back soon?
My tabikins and the shooting. Yes, they'll be back soon.
I shall wait for him then.
He gave me a pistol and said I must carry it with me until he comes back.
He's wise.
I hate guns. They're for killing. Oh, do sit down, Mr. Temple. I must look a fright. No makeup and this old gown. You must think I look a fright.
Oh, not at tall. You look very well indeed.
Thank you, kind sir, she said. May I make you a drink?
Oh, no, thank you, Mrs. Abernathy.
I think I shall have one. If I don't look out, I shall become a drunkard. A solitary drunkard.
Oh, I'm sure you're much too sensible for that.
Julian doesn't think I'm sensible. He called me silly. That'll make me feel much better. You're awfully nice. You're not like the other men. You seem very kind.
Oh, I'm not really. No, quite the opposite. I beat children the second Tuesday of every month.
I gather you're married then? Somebody in England?
No, I'm not married. Mrs. Abernathy, I have something to tell you. I thought of waiting for the Colonel, but since you should know about it, too...
If it's anything unpleasant, I won't hear it.
It concerns you very directly. You should listen.
No. We shall talk of everything, but not about Kenya or Africa and colonels and poor unhappy black people and everything.
Very well. I'll wait for the Colonel.
Oh, now you've been wounded. The handsome soldier's been wounded on the battlefield of the sexes. Here, drink from my glass. Here.
Hmm?
Oh, now, just a sip.
All right, then. Just a sip.
There. Jim Curry thought I was attractive. Am I attractive, Charles?
Yes, of course.
I mean, to you.
Well, after all, you are a married woman. And, well, you know...
No. Sit quietly and listen. If I told you that you're the handsomest man I know, and if I told you that I was in love with you...
Mrs. Abernathy...
Would you take me away with you?
Please.
Would you put me in your pocket and take me?
Of course. Right in my pocket.
No. I don't feel very well. I think I shall lie down.
Well...
Oh, Temple. Oh, sorry I couldn't be here when you came. Where's Lily?
She's not well, sir. I think last night was a bit too much for her. She's resting.
Well, tell me, what happened to the beggar you shot?
Nan died this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Incidentally, I was right about Ngumbe.
How do you mean?
We questioned the native all night. And just before he died, he confessed that he belonged to the Mau.
Well, what has that to do with Ngumbe?
They're brothers.
And he is a Kikuyu after all.
Yes, sir. Get rid of him. But quietly, we don't want to aggravate the situation.
Dying devil. Don't worry. I know what to do.
One more thing. I want you to place a light in your front windows.
Oh? What for?
Well, we shall be patrolling the valley tonight, and we'll have a clear view of your home most of the time. Should anything happen, you turn out the light. We'll know then that you're in trouble, and we'll be along in a jiffy.
Right you are.
Yes. Well, I must be off now, sir. Good night, Colonel. And please be careful with Ngumbe.
Goodbye, Temple.
Now, I must piece together the remainder of the story from details related to me by Ngumbe himself. I thought of it many times, and although Ngumbe was punished for what he did, I cannot in good conscience hold him totally responsible for what went wrong.
Ingombe!
Yes, Juana.
Come here.
Juana?
Ingombe, you're a liar.
Juana? What do you mean?
You know very well what I mean. There was a man shot here last night, and he was your brother.
No. My brother on the reserve.
He died this morning, and he said he was your brother.
My brother died?
Moreover, you belong to the Kikuyu tribe.
No. Jalo.
You lie to my face, you dog.
No. Maybe some Kikuyu. But I could have both.
I do not tolerate lying by anyone.
Juana, please.
You shall be punished for this. I hope you can at least stand up to your medicine.
Medicine?
Put your hands to your side. To your side, I said. Stand straight. That will teach you to lie. Now, get your things together and get out. I shall pay you when you leave. I said go.
What? If you hit me with hand closed, it's good. And I am a man, too. But you hit me with open hand. That makes me not a man.
Get out. And tell your Mau dogs that if they want the same medicine to come to me, and I'll get it to them. Get out. Stop. All creatures, a whole lot of them. Shoot the whole lot that we can do to them.
What are you doing, Julian?
What? You startled me. I'm moving this lamp over to the window.
What for? What's the lamp for?
Temple wants it to remain on all night.
Oh, such a lovely young man.
Will you listen to what I'm telling you?
Mr. Temple wants it to remain on all night, I heard. Why?
If for any reason you need Mr. Temple's help, you're to turn it off. He'll see it and come to you at once.
How nice. Turn it off and he'll come to me at once. Did he really say that?
Yes. Now, another thing. I've dismissed Ngumbe.
I know. I was watching through the door.
Well?
I saw you strike him. Bravely. Colonel.
Don't say it like that. The only way to make him understand is the only way they understand who's master. There's too much mollycoddling with these people.
Is there?
Oh, no matter. Where's your pistol?
I don't know. I don't care.
Oh, in the name of heaven. I told you to carry it with you at all times. Can't you understand it for your own good? Here. Take mine. I expect you to keep it with you all the time. Do you understand?
I won't have it, Julian.
It's for your safety, Lily.
I don't want it. It's hateful. Everything here is hateful.
Lily?
I'm leaving. I'm going away. Far away. From this house. From Kenya. From you.
I've been drinking.
Yes, I have. And I'll have some more.
Stop it, Lily.
Give me that bottle.
Sorry?
Sorry. You're sorry. You don't know what it is to be sorry. I've been sorry for 25 years. I'm sick. I'm sick for living with you. The way you stand. The way you walk. Parade grounds. Always on parade. That's right. Run away. Go on. You'll never talk to me. You never did. You never gave me anything. Anything kind. Anything nice. Tell me I love you now because I don't want it. You hear me? Go on. Run away. Go on. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I'm going. I know you ain't got it. You'll never care. You're always on parade. You never care.
Evening, Juana.
Who's there? Who's there? You hear me? Blast you, do you hear me?
Blast you, do you hear me?
Where are you? Ngumbe? Is that you?
Is that me?
I'm armed. Come closer and I'll shoot. I can see all of you. I can see you.
I can see you better. You're not armed. Look, you forgot pistols.
Ngombe, listen to me. I forbid you to do this, do you hear? Stand out in the open where I can see you. You're a coward, Ngombe. I don't deal with cowards. If you have grievances, we shall talk them over as men. You hear me?
The day you hit me, you make me not a man.
I struck you, you deserved it. Now, stand out in the open where I can see you. Be a man, blast you. Ngombe! Ngombe! I say, come out!
Julian? Julian, I know you're out there. I mean what I say. I'm going away. Julian? Oh, very well. Don't answer me then. But you're a fool. You could have kept me. If you were kind. I only wanted kindness. Mr. Temple was kind. Oh, how stupid of me. The lights. Julian said he'd come to me if I turned off the lights. Now he'll come to me. Charles Temple? Is that you? Oh, you must have been waiting just outside. It is you. It is. I can see you. Oh, you've come for me. Did you come to take me away in your pocket? Go away. What? No. No. No.
When I arrived with the patrol, the house was dark. My men found the colonel lying dead in a thorn bush. I found the colonel's lady, poor unhappy woman. At the screen door to the veranda, there was a strong smell of whiskey about. I turned my head away.
Under the direction of Anthony Ellis, Escape has brought you Lili and the Colonel by John Boehner, starring Ben Wright as Charles Temple, Paula Winslow as Lili, and Ramsey Hill as the Colonel, with Dave Young and Lou Krugman. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Lee Stevens. Next week. You are on a paradise island, living in happiness and freedom. And the woman who loathes you for what you are is planning to take away your freedom and forever put an end to your happy life. So listen next week when Escape brings you Somerset Maugham's unusual story, Vessel of Wrath. The Lux Radio Theater and Suspense are putting on two of their top shows of the season. Suspense presents William Shakespeare's Othello with Richard Widmark as the star. And Lux Radio Theater brings you Wait Till the Sun Shines Nellie with David Wayne and Gene Peters. Remember, that's on Monday night, Suspense and the Lux Radio Theater on most of these same CBS radio stations. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, America now wakes up to 3 million clock radios and listens most to the CBS radio network. Brings you Wait Till the Sun Shines Nellie with David Wayne and Gene Peters. Remember, that's on Monday night, Suspense and the Lux Radio Theater on most of these same CBS radio stations. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, America now wakes up to 3 million clock radios and listens most to the CBS radio network. This is CBS Radio Boston, WEEI. Most oil companies recommend and sell an upper lube at extra cost. Jenny gives you upper cylinder lubrication free of extra cost. Top cylinder lubricant, a patented gasoline improver, is blended in every gallon of Jenny gasoline. You save up to 5 cents a gallon over purchasing packages of upper lube separately.
The time is 10 o'clock. Stay tuned for the Quiz Kid.
And Wheat Chex, the bite-sized cereals in the red and white checkerboard packages, present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed Space Patrol adventure, Buzz and Happy, dressed as prospectors, are tramping across the great Martian desert toward Polidor's hideout.
We're getting closer. That must be the hideout right over that dune.
We can't expect to sneak up and surprise him. The best we can hope for is that we can get close before he recognizes us.
Uh-oh.
I see him. He sees us. Just keep walking.
I can't tell whether it's Polidor or not, but he's got a gun.
Halt! What do you want?
O'Connor's back in the desert about 2 miles.
That's too bad. But you won't need it anymore.
Look out, Happy. He's got a blast gun.
We'll return in just a moment with today's exciting Space Patrol adventure, Trial by Terror. Gang, here's a scene I like to see in every Space Patroller's kitchen when I tune in my viewscope at breakfast time. It looks something like this. A big bowl on the table, a spoon, and next to the bowl and spoon, a red and white checkerboard package of Rice Chex. Then into the bowl goes the Rice Chex. Then cream and sugar, and sometimes fresh fruit. And now it's time to dig in. And man, oh man, oh man, digging into that bowl of Rice Chex is just like digging into a bowl full of sunshine. Golden shredded rice biscuits, triple oven toasted, till they're crisp as a cookie and 3 times as tasty. Tops for taste, you bet. Tops for size, too. Made in that modern bite-sized design for slick and easy eating. And Rice Chex is tops for get up and go. After a good, nourishing breakfast with Rice Chex, you're full of the same super-powered get up and go that Commander Corey starts off his day with. So, Space Patrollers, the next time I tune in my viewscope at breakfast time, I want to see you eating Rice Chex. And if you're a whole wheat fan, try Wheat Chex. Remember, Chex are tops 3 ways: for taste, size, and get up and go. In the red and white checkerboard packages with the big full-color picture of Commander Corey or Cadet Happy on the outside and the wonderful free Space Patrol trading card on the inside. Rice checks, wheat checks. And now today's Space Patrol adventure, Trial by Terror. Commander Corey and Cadet Happy are maintaining an all-night vigil in Room 27 of the Space Patrol Security Lab. Room 27 houses an array of electronics equipment known officially as the Terra Internal Protective Alarm Coordinator, but usually referred to as the Crime Track. The complex device is connected to hundreds of key points on the man-made planet Terra, banks, government offices, and laboratories. Its sensitive detection instruments are ready to report any attempt at forced entry, unusual movement, or outbreak of fire at any of these crucial locations. For hours now, the row of viewscope screens have remained dark. Unbroken rows of small green lights indicate the system is in operation in all circuits. Bored by the uneventful hours of waiting, Happy stands up and stretches.
It looks like that tip on Polidor was false, sir. Unless he managed to break into the vault without setting off an alarm.
Not even he could do that. The vault at Triplanet Construction Company is equipped with nearly every known detection device.
Polidor must know that.
Yes, there's a good chance he also knows that there are 2 million credits in the vault. It's a tempting haul.
He's sure running an awful risk.
His men are. You can be sure that Polidor himself is playing it safe.
Sir, would it be all right if I skip down to the commissary for another glass of milk?
Wait till Lieutenant Callan gets back, huh?
Yes, sir. Well, I sure wouldn't want his job. Imagine having to watch these panels 6 hours a day and nothing ever happens. Uh-oh, I spoke too soon.
Check the panel hat.
Hey, it looks like that tip was on the level after all.
Oh, wait a minute. That alarm isn't from the Triplanet vault. Their light's still green. What's the number under the red light?
49, sir.
49. That's Universal Map and Chart Company.
Polidor's mob wouldn't be pulling that job.
Hey, Lieutenant Callan, we're at the local... Pat, something's wrong with the crime track.
Hey, there must be a short circuit. Smoke's just pouring out of the panel. Smoke and rockets, the central panel blew up.
Every circuit's dead.
Wow, with the alarm system out, every bank on Terra could be robbed.
Now get Lieutenant Callan. I'll space phone our patrol cars to close in on Triplanet and the map company.
Less than a mile from Space Patrol headquarters, a small surface truck pulls up to the rear of the Zenith Microfilm Laboratory building. A man leaps from the truck, grabs a large case, and enters the building. Then, taking a heavy metal bar, he scrapes it across the floor. A section of the flooring swings upward, held against the metal bar by the pull of a magnet on the underside of the trap door. Placing the case down in the opening, the man closes the trap door and walks to a spaceophone transmitter.
Graham's laser at Station 5 Terra calling Polidor. Graham's laser calling Polidor.
Polidor here. Go ahead, Slazer.
Arning and I got the credits.
Excellent. Any trouble?
Not in the Triplanet vault, but we were nearly stopped by a Space Patrol surface car during the getaway. There were patrol cars all around the Triplanet building.
There may have been some sort of leak. But we won't worry about that now that you got the 2 million credits.
When do Harning and I blast off?
Both of you remain on Terra until further orders. Lie low for a couple of days.
Now, but Polidor, the original agreement was that we were to deliver the credits to you right away and get paid off.
You'll be running a risk if you try to take that money off of Terra now. In a day or two, I will provide a distraction.
What do you mean, distraction?
Something will happen to one of the big cities on Mars. A disaster so terrible that Corey will forget all about those 2 million credits.
Now, what's going to happen?
I want it to be a surprise. You and Harnong stay on Terra and keep out of trouble. Polidor out.
Boss and Happy have just returned to the commander's central office at Space Patrol headquarters after examining the vault at the Triplanet Construction Company building.
Wow. 2 million credits gone, and not a single clue. Polidor did it again?
He got away with the theft, but we'll have some clues when he tries to put that money into circulation.
What do you mean, sir? Checking the serial numbers?
That'd be difficult. The money was in fairly small bills, but they're impregnated with radioactive carbon particles. Within a few hours, every bank in the solar system will be supplied with radiation detectors.
Then when anyone passes any of that money across the counter, he'll be nabbed.
No. A Space Patrol agent will be put on his trail. The person actually passing the money might be entirely innocent. It'll take a lot of quiet investigation, but eventually we'll trace the money back to its original source, to one of Polidor's men.
That could take weeks.
Maybe months, unless Polidor's short of operating cash.
If we could only find out who tipped us off.
The lab experts had examined the damage of the crime trap in room 27. Somehow, one of Polidor's men bridged a small explosive device across one of the circuits in the main control.
Well, right here in headquarters.
The attempt to break into the map company had just one purpose: to set off an alarm in the coordinator system. And that triggered the explosive that blew out the master control.
And prevented the alarm in the Triplanet vault from registering.
Right.
Polidor had both jobs timed to the split second.
Well, the biggest mystery right now is who tampered with the control panel in room 27.
That part isn't a mystery, Hap. One of the maintenance men was in there yesterday. He didn't show up for duty today, and he can't be located.
If we could only find him and give him a brainograph test.
That wouldn't help much. You know how Polidor works. His men know only their own phase of the job, nothing about anything higher up. Now get it. Corey here.
Commander, this is Special Agent Parker. Some of that Tri-Planet money's already in circulation.
Interesting. Polidor's trying to unload it fast, huh?
Yeah, tell her at the terror bag was handed a 100-credit note. It was as radioactive as Madame Curie's floor mop.
Have you traced the bill?
The teller told me it was passed by a fellow that works for Zenith Microfilm Lab. His name's Harnung. Want me to follow up on it, Commander?
Find out all you can about the microfilm lab, but indirectly. Check on their employees, who owns it, and who their clients are.
Yes, sir.
Where is this outfit?
467 Orion.
Keep working undercover, Parker. I'll check on Harnung. Corey out.
Say, this Zenith outfit is really sharp. Look at their sign. An elephant never forgets. Neither does Zenith Microfilm. And it takes less space.
Clever. And below it, our clients are protected by Typac.
Hey, they're closed.
There's a light on inside.
Somebody's coming.
Have to keep that radiation detector out of sight. While I'm talking to this fellow, you wander around the plant.
A little private snooping, huh?
Make it obvious youthful curiosity. Walk close to their files, but be interested in their lab equipment.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I was about to say we're closed for business, but of course that doesn't apply to the Space Patrol.
I'm looking for Mr. Harnung.
Oh, I'm Harnung. What can I do for you?
I'd like to ask you a few routine questions inside, if you don't mind.
Of course. Come in, gentlemen. Sit down. I was just checking through some orders. Got a few rush shipments I want to get out tonight.
I'll go right ahead. We can talk as you work.
Thank you.
Hey, you've sure got a lot of swell equipment here.
You better not touch anything, Happy. You might upset some delicate adjustments.
Yes, sir.
No, he can't have heard anything. Now, what was it, Commander?
You visited the Terra Bank this morning, is that right?
Yeah. On some business for the firm.
You gave the teller a 100-credit note.
Don't tell me it wasn't any good.
No, it was good, all right. I'd just like to know where you got it.
I'm afraid I can't tell you, Commander.
You mean you get so many 100-credit bills you can't remember?
I wish that were true. No, what I mean is I wasn't in the office when the bill came in. Perhaps Mr. Ogilvy could help you. He's our bookkeeper. I could tell you where he lives.
Oh, fine. You can give me his address later.
Say, is it all right if I go back here?
Huh? Oh, the processing lab? Yeah, of course. Make yourself at home.
Now, don't disturb anything, Happy.
All right, Commander.
Now, Mr. Harnung, when would this 100-credit bill have come in?
Well, I don't know. Possibly late yesterday. This morning, our petty cash was low, so I took the bill to the bank to get it changed. As I say, if you go and talk to Ogilvy...
I'll do that. I noticed you're protected by Terra Internal Alarm Coordinator Service. Do you often have material here that would tempt burglars?
Well, Commander, frankly, we don't need the service, but it looks good on our advertising. You and I know that no burglar's going to waste his time and run the risk of breaking into a place like this.
Excuse me, Commander.
Yes, Happy?
Something very interesting back in the lab.
Oh?
Well, things are really clicking.
Harnung, before you give me your bookkeeper's address, I'd like to see the rest of your plant.
Yeah, of course. Now, over here's our display room where we show the plant samples of...
I'd like to see the lab first.
There's something radioactive under the floor of the lab, sir.
Okay, Hap. Come on, Harnung. I'm sure we'll need your explanation of some of the lab equipment.
That's just like any commercial microfilm lab, Commander. Nothing you gentlemen wouldn't understand.
I never can tell. There are tricks to every trade.
Here's the spot, Commander. Listen to the detector. Now watch what happens when I put it down on the floor.
What's under this flooring, Harnung?
I don't know.
If you look close, Commander, you can make out very fine cracks in the floor in the form of a square, like a closely fitted trap door.
Yes, I see. Open it up, Harnung.
Look, I don't know what you're talking about.
By the way that detector's clicking, I'd say there's about 2 million credits worth of radioactivity under this floor.
If I can find something sharp, maybe I can pry it open, sir. Oh, I know, that metal bar. Hey, that's funny. It was right over here under the window, on top of a packing case. It looked like a crowbar. Yeah, but where did it go?
Here it is, Cadet. Oh, I got Corey.
Hold it. No, you don't, Harnung.
Nice going, Slazer.
You couldn't wait to dip into that 2 million credits.
How about Slazer? We were broke. How did I know?
Shut up. Take this bar and open the trapdoor. While you're loading the money in the surface car, I'll make sure that Corey and the cadet are out of the way for good.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. This is Dick Tufeld in St. Louis reporting on the twin-jet Air Force fighter, the McDonnell Voodoo XF-88A. In a moment, we'll hear from the noted test pilot who flies this plane, Phil Houghton. Speed of the Voodoo is a military secret, but it's plenty fast. Wingspan is 40 feet, length 55, weight 10 tons. And now, Phil Houghton recorded at Lambert Airfield.
After seeing the Voodoo, I guess you know why I like my job. There's one thing about it, though. The test pilot has to stay in good condition, get lots of sleep, and eat good, healthy food. That's why I like rice checks and wheat checks for breakfast. They've got plenty of energy in them, and they really taste swell. I think you'll like them, too.
Make sure you stay in condition the way Phil Houghton, J. Ray Donahue, Jr., and other top test pilots do. Every morning, eat a good, nourishing breakfast with rice checks or wheat checks, the cereals that are tops 3 ways. Tops for taste, for size, and for real get up and go. That's Chex, rice or wheat. Remember, they're tops with America's top pilots. And now back to our Space Patrol adventure, Trial by Terror. Using a radiation detector, Buzz and Happy have discovered the hiding place of 2 million stolen credits in a microfilm laboratory used as a front by 2 members of Polidor's gang. While the Space Patrollers were busy with Harnung, the other criminal Slazer emerged from hiding and knocked out the Commander and Happy before they could defend themselves. Right now, while Harnung removes the stolen money to a surface car, Slazer grips a metal bar as Buzz dazedly raises his head.
Don't try to get up, Corey. I can make it quick and painless for you and the cadet if you don't try to put up a fight. How much is Polidor giving you out of that 2 million credits? And what makes you think we're working for Polidor?
I've got the money in the car. What's taking you?
Hey, quiet, you fool. Don't stand in the door bellowing. Now, what is it?
Have you finished them yet?
Have quick push against this stack of cases. Yes, sir. When they fall, they may break that
You're
window.
a thorough job. With this much
They're rocking, sir. Their fault. That does it.
Hey, what good do you think that's going to do you?
Window opens into the alley. It's deserted.
I realize that. I just stolen. Get to work with that bar, Slazy.
Just a moment. I believe this plant's protected by Terra Internal Alarm Service.
What about it?
Oh, nothing. Except that in room 27 at Terra headquarters, a red light's flashing. In a few seconds, every patrol car in the district will be heading this way.
Slazer, he's right. Let's get out of here, quick.
Corey's bluffing. The master panel's out of commission. We've got auxiliary units, you know. But of course, it's up to you. Polidor will be mighty grateful to you for getting rid of us at the cost of your own freedom.
Slazer, come on.
It would only take a second.
Every second counts. Throw that bar down and let's go.
All right. But there's one thing I'm going to do first. Smash this spacer pole.
That's enough. Come on.
Let's go. We'll lock him in.
Oh, that was close.
I'll give you a hand, Hap.
Oh, my head. Hey, I didn't know that master alarm panel was replaced so quickly. I'm surprised.
If it's working, I'm surprised. Slazer sure put that spacerphone out of order. I'll check the dials. Maybe I can find out what frequencies they've been using. Hap, get that bar and pry open the door.
Weakened and dazed by their treatment at the hands of Slazer and Harnung, it's several minutes before Buzz and Happy can wrench open the locked door of the microfilm lab. Hailing a patrol car, Buzz spacephones an alert at the Terra spaceport. Then he and Happy speed to headquarters to supervise the hunt for Slazer and Harnung. Right now, as Happy enters the commander's office after an errand to the security lab, Buzz adjusts a spacephone receiver.
The alarm coordinator panel is working now, Commander. Gee, if they'd only finished it a few minutes sooner, our alarm from the microfilm lab would have gone through.
We've had a couple of good breaks, though, Hap. 3 of Polidor's chief agents have been picked up, 2 in Saturn City and 1 on Mercury.
Great. When we give him a brain grab test, maybe we can find out where Polidor is.
I know where he is.
What?
I've been monitoring the frequencies I found jotted down by Harnung and Slazer at the microfilm lab. I intercepted a call from Polidor, and communications got a fix on it.
Where is he?
On Mars. Approximately in the center of Sector K7 on the Great Martian Desert.
Well, then what are we waiting for? Let's go.
Polidor calling Station 7 Mercury. Polidor calling Station 7 Mercury. Station 7, I assume you are listening but cannot acknowledge. Disaster Plan C is now in effect. Repeat, Disaster Plan C is now in effect. Suspend operations until after Space Patrol sounds strip or red. At approximately 1500 hours. Polidor out.
What's he talking about? Triple Red is our... Commander, Triple Red is our code for a Mars emergency.
Exactly.
We'd better notify Mars Space Patrol where Polidor
They
is.
know, Hap. Getting Polidor might be simple, but it wouldn't necessarily stop this disaster plan C of his.
It sounds as though he's getting desperate.
Right. Got to take him by surprise. He expects us to sound a Triple Red at about 1,500 hours.
That would give us time to get to Mars, maybe with 2 hours to spare.
We'll need that time, Hap. Hundreds of lives, maybe thousands, depend on how we use those 2 hours.
In a skillfully camouflaged building in the great Martian desert, the master criminal Polidor counts through several huge stacks of credits, then glowers at the two men who sit silently in a corner.
You're 100 credits short of 2 million.
I explained that, Polidor. I needed money for expenses,
So you trotted right down to the Terra Bank with a radioactive 100-credit bill. I ought to cut your share in half.
But, Polidor, now we know those bills are radioactive. Otherwise, you might have circulated some yourself and got caught.
You have to admit he's right, Polidor.
What good is this money if we can't pass it?
That isn't our fault. Maybe we can neutralize the radiation.
Yeah, that's true. Right now I have something more urgent to think about. The destruction of Lowell City.
What?
Lowell City?
Disaster Plan C, remember?
Well, what do we gain by that?
With a city in ruins, who is going to bother about you or me? The Space Patrol will have its hands full.
How are you going to do it?
It will be simple. Right now on Deimos, the outer moon of Mars, is a robot spaceship full of high explosives. I can control it from here, cause it to blast off, and set it on a vector that will send it crashing into Lowell City.
Isn't there some other way to save our skins? Destroying a whole city.
If you think of a method as effective, I'll consider it. In the meantime, follow orders. No one must interfere with my plan to destroy Lower City. Naturally, no ships can approach without warning. But an attack by land is another matter.
What are you worried about? This place is like a fort.
Yes, and forts have been known to fall even to a few men on foot. You two are going on patrol right now.
After a swift flight to Mars, Buzz and Happy set their spaceship down in the great Martian desert, miles from Polidor's hideout. Dressed as prospectors, they cover more miles in a battered desert-going surface car. Now, their faces and hands grimy with grease and dirt to hide their identity, they trudge onward through the cold Martian twilight.
Perhaps slow down, let your shoulders slump. You'd be spotted as a space patroller from a mile away.
We're getting closer. That must be the hideout right over that dune.
Yeah, we can't expect to sneak up and surprise Polidor. The best we can hope for is to get close to him before he recognizes us.
Uh-oh. Look.
I see him, Hap. He sees us. Just keep walking.
What light there is behind him. I can't tell whether it's Polidor or not, but he's got a gun.
Halt! What do you want?
Our car is back in the desert about 2 miles.
That's too bad. But you won't need it anymore.
Drop, Happy. He's got a blast gun.
I missed you on purpose. But if either of you makes a move, I'll let you have it.
It's Slazer.
Let him do all the talking. Well. On your feet, men, and keep your hands up. That's it. I'll just take your weapons. Thanks, Commander. Now yours, Cadet. You know, Polidor will be glad to see you. And I can finish what I started back on Terra. Now get moving. Go on in.
Who are these men?
Just a couple of prospectors. Prospecting for trouble.
Oh, Corey and the Cadet. You're just in time to watch the destruction of Lowell City. Lowell City?
So that's what you meant by Disaster Plan C.
Oh, so you intercepted one of my spaceophone messages. Yes, Commander. A few minutes ago, I launched a robot spaceship from the outer moon. At 1500 hours, it will crash into the heart of Lowell City. It is now 1455.
Polidor, what can you possibly gain by a thing like that?
I'm a hunted man, Commander. Even with you out of the way, your hounds of the law will be hot on my scent.
Well, do you think raiding a city will make them stop hunting you?
No. But it will give me a breathing spell while the Space Patrol is evacuating the injured, caring for the homeless.
Why, you inhuman...
Careful, Commander. Slazer, cut on the viewscope. The large screen, if you will. Thank you. There. What you see there is the planet Mars as it looks from the nose port of a robot ship. Each second brings it closer to its target.
You've forgotten about space control. They'll detect it.
No, Cadet.
In a moment, I will step into the next room where the control mechanism is. And at the proper time, I will change vector. Space control defenses will have no time to act.
Polidor, think of the helpless women and children in that city.
It is nearly time to change vector. Watch the screen, gentlemen. You will see Lower City move from the right edge to the exact center. It will grow larger and larger. And when the screen goes blank... Stop him! Stop Corey! Corey, come out of there! Open this door! Laser, you and Harnung keep an eye on the cadet.
Sure we will.
Don't move, cadet. Harnung, cut on the intercom so Corey can hear me.
Okay. Look at the screen. Corey's changing the course of the robot ship.
Hooray, Commander, you did it. You saved Lowell City. Save your cheers, cadet. Commander, can you hear me?
Yes, Polidor, I hear you.
Open this door. If I have to break it down, I'll come in there with a blast gun.
Come ahead. Now I've got a blast gun, too. Now, what are you waiting for? You're 3-1 against me.
Harnung, Snazer, one of you go and get him.
You go in, Polidor. It's your idea.
You cowards. I'll fix him. Corey, you forget that we got the cadet out here. If you want to see him alive, surrender. Come out with your hands up and empty.
Smart thinking, Polidor. That'll get him.
How about it, Corey? Are you coming out, or do we shoot the cadet?
Don't let him bluff you, Commander. After he wrecks the city, he'll get us anyway.
Now, isn't the cadet heroic?
Shut up, all of you. Well, Corey, I'm counting to 10.
While you're counting, look at the viewscope screen. What do you see?
You're heading the robot toward Mars.
That's right. Straight toward the center of Sector K7.
That's where we are.
Corey, are you crazy? You blow us all up.
We gotta get in there and stop him. Change that control.
Now, listen, all of you. If I hear a shot, I'm going to smash this robot control. Nothing you can do will prevent that ship full of explosives from crashing.
Polidor, look at the screen. It's getting close. Let's get out of here.
You plan to destroy a city. That means you can't run far enough or fast enough to avoid that explosion.
Corey, listen to reason. Stop that thing. Change its course.
Not until you give Happy your weapons.
Listen. It's getting close. Polidor, give up.
Don't be fools. We got 2 million credits here, and Corey's bluffing. He wouldn't dare let the ship crash here.
Oh, no?
It's right above us. Polidor, give up!
Yes, Polidor, surrender. I'll shoot you.
No, don't. You heard what Corey said. If he hears a shot, he'll smash the controls. All right, Corey, we'll surrender. Cadet, take our guns. Quick, please.
Just drop them.
How's it going out there, Hap?
I've got him covered, Commander.
Hurry.
Please. Change vector.
You may get up off your knees now, gentlemen.
Well, I see everything's under control, huh?
Yes, except Polidor and his pals are nearly passed out from fright. It's a shame in a way.
I know what you mean, Hap. I'd hoped that...
Hey, Polidor's going for a gun!
Oh, no, he's not. Thanks, Polidor. I've been wanting to get that out of my system for a long time.
It's over. It's all over.
Good thinking. Polidor doesn't need a spaceship to fall on him. Or does he?
An action preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure in just a moment. Say, Space Patrollers, Commander Corey's been getting a lot of fan letters lately. Got a couple of them right here. And man, oh man, you should hear all the wonderful things Space Patrollers are saying about Chex. Listen, I'll quote you a few. Love those Chex. Best tasting cereals of all. And taste real George with fruit. Super swell with milk and sugar. Here's another good one. I like Chex because they're bite-sized. Take along a pocketful most every place I go. There you have it, gang, and that's just a few. But I know that you'll all like Chex. They're the tops in cereals, tops 3 ways. For taste, size, and get up and go.
Right, Captain Tufeld. Commander Corey here, Space Patrollers. Now, I want all of you to be Rice Chex, Wheat Chex fans like I am. So try 'em. Have yourself a good, nourishing breakfast with Chex. And I'm sure you'll agree, Chex are tops in cereals.
Gang, you heard what the commander said, and he's the #1 Chex fan. So go get him today. In the red and white checkerboard packages, with the picture of the commander or Cadet Happy on the outside, and the wonderful free Space Patrol trading card inside. Rice Chex, Wheat Chex, tops 3 ways. For taste, for size, for get up and go. Now, a preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are trying to escape from a mysterious underworld kingdom on Mercury. Suddenly, a robed figure steps before them.
Commander, it's Varg.
There is no use resisting. You will never leave this underground city.
What's going to stop us?
The sun. The precious sunlight you surface dwellers prize so much. It is pouring down into the shafts beneath you.
What's he talking about, Commander?
The sun's heat here in Mercury is terrific. If it suddenly expands those pockets of frozen air, it'll blast these caverns wide open.
Be sure to join us next week for the thrilling story, Menace Under Mercury, when Rice Checks and Wheat Checks again present Space Patrol! Space Patrol, created by Mike Moser, starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Lynn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston, produced and directed by Larry Robertson, executive producer Helen Moser. Other players were Baylor Kovach, Norman Jolly, and Ken Mayer. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Rice Checks and Wheat Checks present exciting action on Space Patrol! This program is broadcast to our armed forces overseas through the worldwide facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Space Patrol came to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.